Face looks sweet. Are you gonna get one of those decks?
We are live right now. What's up, everybody?
Hello.
Yeah, I see. I'm trying to check both chats for YouTube and Twitch. Yeah, I didn't feel like doing a voiceover. Y'all are gonna have to hear me talk for the next entire time that we're testing this. So I figure I'll spare you all with that and just play the theme song in full. So we got a couple of views. We have this one, which is just the side of my desk, and then I also have a second monitor where I'm doing screen capture, so you can see what I'm doing with all of this. So I think we're probably just going to get started, and I think the number one thing we would most likely have to do is update the firmware. I'm here with Tianfeng, by the way. I probably should have said that first. What's up, man?
Hello, everybody.
So I'm going to switch over to the other view here.
Are you gonna get a decal for your case or no? You gonna leave it clean?
I'm probably going to leave it clean.
Oh.
All right, so let me get the firmware here.
Yeah, Kevin, it's not all FPGA. I mean, the CD part's FPGA, and the super graphics is half FPGA, but it's still using 100% of the audio. I can tell you, comes directly out the two pins in the back, so it has to be using the main NEC chips on inside to be able to do that.
All right, I'll bring this over here. So far, so good. All right, so I'm going to power this thing off, and basically this is just going to be exactly what I would have done if I had time to do a full featured video. So it's going to be all the same testing, all the same, shots and stuff. You already had the fancy white box shots, but I'm just going to do it as a live stream, and then I'm going to pass all of my information over to a couple of creators who are also going to be doing their video on it, both to save them time and to save me time, because I'm going to be out of commission for almost 3 full weeks starting Thursday. So it's going to be annoying.
When's the last time you have had 3 weeks off?
Oh, first of all, there is no time off. I'm going to be working 24/7 moving into a new place. But on top of that, I haven't had 3 weeks off since I got laid off when I was 23 years old. So almost 17 years ago was the last time I had more than like 6 days off in a row or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you had a little while off a while ago with COVID, and then before that when you threw your back out. I mean, aren't those vacations enough for you, Bob?
Huh, funny. I still got 1 post a day done when I had the Rona. John Linneman stepped in and did the actual the roundup, and I still worked through my entire back, including moving stuff around because I had just lost my job. So I had to lift all these monitors, carry them up flights of stairs, because, I might be fat and dumpy, but I'm still strong. So I get to somebody's house selling them a monitor, and they're like, "Could you carry it up my stairs, please?"
Oh,
okay.
Brutal.
Press 2 to update.
No, it's not even the newest version, Bob. I told you to get the newest version from the website.
This is the one that Todd has sent me.
Yeah, but NeoDev works in the middle of the night.
Okay.
I think there's no audio changes between R3 and R4, but I think that there was a couple of stability changes.
Okay.
Yeah, Rev's in the chat. Yeah, R4 is current.
All right, I'm gonna go sign up for this, which means I need a DNA sample, my social security number, an account. This is gonna take a minute, so maybe we could address some questions in the chat. Over here we got DC once said, laid off 17 years ago. I hope you've found a job since then. No, my friend. The last time I had time off was 17 years ago. I've been working straight through, never with more than a week off. No, that's I know I've been doing retro RGB full time for 3 years, and I've never been laid off for more than a short period of time. More than 3 months, I think, was the longest. So, oh, of course, my login's not working. Let me try this. Nope, maybe third time's a charm. This is why I hate having my serial number. I need my serial number for this.
Because you got to flip it over and look at the bottom.
Yeah, that part was easy, but now I don't have my login info for the Terraonion website.
Why?
Because the only time I ever go is this. All right, I'm in now.
Okay.
I absolutely love the way PixelFX has been doing it, because technically everything is tied to the serial number and everything like that. That's all true, except it's also all done through Wi-Fi, so you don't ever actually need to know any of that.
unless you have a GDMU old version and you try to update your DC digital and it corrupts all the firmware, and then you can't use it until you buy a JTAG, some sort of, I think it was a USB JTAG type thing, like not the USB blaster, a different one.
Oh yeah, but that didn't really happen to many people, so that wasn't like a widespread
happened to Cruz
issue.
and me, so that's enough.
True. So
it's actually pretty simple once I got it all going. It was just, of course, the device I bought from I think SparkFun wasn't soldered correctly. I had to bodge the friggin' thing the day I got it.
Here, I gotta just show this again, because listen, okay. I like this device. I like Terraonion's products, but I tease where teasing is due. There is no way in hell a normal human could ever get this out without tweezers and without some kind of tool to do it. I'll show you. I'm just gonna do the same thing I did before and drop the new firmware file in. But like, oh, did I get a freeze here? Of course I got a freeze. Oh, the all right, unfrozen.
Okay, we're back. Yeah, the SD card slot. I don't know if Alex is in the chat. Alex, what the hell are you thinking, buddy? What do you got? You got tiny girly hands, or you got like long fingernails or something? Like, I have no clue how any normal human being can get the SD card slot out of that.
I have.
Yeah.
Oh, every time.
Gonna send tweezers with it in 2022.
Every time I inserted and removed the SD card, it froze my camera. That's nothing to do with, you know, the Terraonion product, obviously. I'm even having a hard time. Like, even my tweezers are a little too.
Yeah, it's a rough one.
All right. Let's try this again.
There you go. Now we're cooking with gas.
John wants to know if blue is the only color it comes in. Yeah, I believe so. And Nicole's here. What's up, Nicole? She likes the menu better than the original SSD-S3. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Press.
So there has been people swapping out their old SSD S3 with the new one, and you can actually just drop in the back panel, the blue part. So they get the smoke case, and then you just get the IO, basically the IO shield from the back.
Oh, all right. I guess the kids are enjoying your new place.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Sorry, I had to, murder my children.
It's all good.
I think they know when they're like, oh, he must be doing something with Bob. Let's see if we can run around the house as fast as possible. How high can we jump in the upstairs?
Let's show everybody on the stream how high we can jump.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Ryan. I got burned out. Bob's going to end up there too. When you're working, I'm trying to get my shop together to get all my tools and everything when I moved. And I started drywalling and doing it all myself. And man, it's easy to burn out. Like, you have to get so dirty and so dusty doing that. It's just like, it's hard to get the motivation to go out there and be filthy for the next 4 to 8 hours. Yeah. I just did more. I don't want to do it right now, but I'm going to go back out and finish it. I need to get done before the end of this month.
All right, so let's take a look at the menu here. This is just going to be a basic walkthrough. And any questions in the chat, definitely fire away. But I'm just gonna go into options. So game list type. Let's. I don't think I loaded any of the covers. No, so that's my fault. That is not at all Terraonion's fault.
Yeah.
And if it's the same as their other ODEs, the first time you enter a directory, it takes a long time to read, and then that's pretty much it. So any weirdness like this, I wouldn't call this a problem. It is what it is. Yeah, Lily says, I guess you could get one of Retro Gamer Store's clear shells and dye it blue with the plastic dye. Yeah, I mean that's what this is. This is one of the Retro Gamer Store shells, so that's pretty cool. All right, so back into list view. I prefer this view anyway. It's nothing right or wrong. Boot to last game, I don't like to do because I 99% use these things for testing. I actually don't have time to play games. Reverse menu 1 and 2, that's a good feature to have, but I'm leaving it as own or as is. Enable in-game trigger, sure.
Yeah, it's good.
Skip CD-ROM press 1. Sure, might as well just say that extra button press. Seek time emulation is for I'm sure it's the same as the Mega SD. Wait. I always get them all confused. The Mega SD, yes.
I always leave it on because it means that if you're having any issues with voice and like FMV or something, it's basically trying to slow down the thing to be accurate-ish to a system, to an actual CD-ROM drive.
Okay, but doesn't that slow down some of the read times?
Yeah.
All right, I guess I'll leave it on. Because with these optical drive emulators, the biggest speed bump that you get in all of these is just simply the fact that you don't have to wait for the laser to move around, and you don't have to deal with beat up lasers. So that should be a pretty big thing anyway, just having that. All right.
I think the seek time emulation is still significantly faster. Even some people were saying like it might still be too fast for some of the FMV stuff, but it does. Like someone was saying in chat, Sherlock Holmes Detective Agency. The FMV, like the voices go into sync if you leave it on. I think GameSack talked about that.
Okay, and Nicole just said the fast CD-ROM drive emulation makes arcade card support in Space Ava 201 useless. So I guess she did program it for original hardware and stuff.
Yeah.
Per game backup RAM is awesome. I love this on all ODEs. That way you never have to worry about filling out. And you could also have it saved to a file. One of these days I want to start a save game database so that everybody could just trade their saves and stuff like that. Even for little things like in Castlevania, not having to wait through the entire opening, like Super Metroid, stuff like that too. So enable arcade card, definitely. And this is also one of the biggest feature upgrades from the last one is the FPGA emulates the arcade card as well as the arcade card was available on the last one. I'm sorry, but yeah, this is still a pretty cool thing. Enable hue card dumper, because I'm not going to do that, but that's a cool feature. Select CD-ROM system card. So
oh yeah, did you do that yet on your card?
I think I put Super CD-ROM from Japan.
Yeah, so you can just select anyone there.
All of these are decent. Do you think one would have an advantage over the other?
Yeah, you want to go with the highest one, usually like 3.1 if you can see it.
Yeah, all right, so here, some small feedback for Terraonion. Scrolling letters would be great because I have no idea what version that is, but it's 3 point something, so that's
that should be good.
Oh, wait, I hit the wrong button. My bad. Alternate CD-ROM program? Yeah,
so I mean, there's some Terraonion people in the chat. I think they were saying to run the alternate CD program or not. I don't know. So I guess it comes down to that.
Okay. Also, Rev Quixo? I'm gonna pronounce that wrong. I'm so sorry, but
just call him Rev.
Rev says 3.1 is a hack, so don't use that.
Yeah, I think it's the 3.1 is the one I use, but it's like region free or something.
I unfortunately can't tell what that is, so
it's fine. It won't do anything. I use 3.1. I have no issue, so I'm assuming it's 3, but who knows?
All right. So if anybody from Terraonion has thoughts on the alternate CD-ROM program, we could come back to that.
Yeah.
Video options. Digital video mode. Cool. So this is the output modes. 1280 by 720. So since I have the screen captured here, we might as well just show you what the data path says. Now,
Hmm.
just please understand for everybody watching that unless I redo this window for every single choice, it's going to look stretched. It's not. Please just understand. I think it's more important from the nerdy side of things to show exactly what the data path is reading than it is to get a good aspect ratio. We'll see that later.
Yeah.
So 720 by 480. All right, so that's probably a good choice for any kind of 480p monitor.
Yeah.
640 by 480 is perfect for people who want to use this on just a regular VGA CRT monitor. So you could just use a very cheap digital to analog converter. Just go to retrorgb.link/cheap DAC and grab any of the HDMI to VGA, and that would be the perfect solution for that. I don't think I would really suggest any of those modes for anything other than CRT use, because why would you bother if you have a perfectly good 720p mode?
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
Oh no, that's exactly it. I left it on 720p and just kind of left it there. Everybody is saying use the alternate core.
Okay. Here's another one. 720 by 480 unbuffered.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And that's the last one. So I guess we'll get back
Yeah.
to that. But for now, we're just going to leave it at 720p. Scanlines mode, I mean this with love and respect. Scanlines come out like garbage over the internet. There's nothing I can do
Yeah.
about it. So, I'll show them here real quick just for fun, but like I'm not going to show them because it's just going to misrepresent this product, and I don't want to do that. I don't want people seeing my stream and go, "Oh, the Terraonion scanlines suck," but they don't. They're just as good or bad as every other horizontal scan lines, however you would want it. But I'll show
The
the
adaptive
options.
ones are the adaptive ones are decent,
Okay.
but I mean, yeah,
I mean, also after Mike added the aperture grill
yeah,
mode, I don't think I'll ever use anything else. So,
yeah.
uh,
Yeah, I like the aperture grill too.
yep.
I think that's probably my favorite of the new ones.
Definitely in generic mode. So strange for me to not want the sharpest, but it actually cuts through exactly the way it would. And you know what? We'll show that. We'll show that through the RetroTink here
Yeah,
at some point. But for anybody watching, we're concentrating on HDMI out now, but we'll get to analog in a bit, so don't worry. Scaling mode, sharp versus smooth. Smooth would be FMVs and stuff like that, but are there FMVs on this?
oh yeah.
I've never really played them. I've only played shooters and like some of the good ports of other games. So for scaling mode, it's my, well, do whatever your eyes prefer, but it's my strong opinion that smooth is good for FMVs, sharp is for absolutely everything else.
Yeah.
Analog color tables.
Yes. So this is the reason
Ooh,
why I bought this
sorry,
device.
sorry. I just hit a bunch of buttons. Now the screen's flashing. I'm sorry if anybody has epilepsy. I'm going back in that. All right. So there's only one option, default. It doesn't look like I could turn that off.
Yeah, you have to load the palettes as well.
Oh, okay.
So the someone can probably flip it to you or another way to do it, but this is where you can load the composite palette, the Mr. Composite palette, the one that Risha made.
That is pretty awesome. Okay, so just to show here, so the default was limited color range, and you could see, I think you could probably even see in the stream how the screen, the capture window, the vision window gets a little bit grayish. And if you
Yeah.
watch as I switch it right now over to full, you can watch the background turn to black. So this isn't right or wrong. This is, you got to match it to your setup. And both
Yep.
of my capture cards take full range color. Both of my TVs, including my bottom of the barrel cheap LG TV, takes full range color. But I would just say that the easiest thing to do is switch between them. And if one looks gray and not black, it's wrong.
Yeah.
So
It means your TVs are like full range. It depends on what you calibrate to as well.
mhm.
So most of the TVs are probably calibrated, like you said, they take full range. They're probably calibrated for full range.
Okay. alternate Cd-Rom program that everybody in the chat that works with Terraonion said enable it, so I'm just going back to enable it. UI theme, PC Engine, core graphics.
I like the core graphics one.
Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna put PC Engine blue to match the blue back of it.
Yep.
And because everybody know blues taste better, so. Okay, and version, just to show everybody, I know everybody was very concerned that I was on the newest firmware. I would never forget that, but at the same time, I almost was at the wrong firmware because I used the one I was sent. So we can all blame
like
Todd for that.
At 12 o'clock last night, and they had a new one this morning.
So before we test anything, I'm just going to fire up Bonk because that's my test for absolutely everything. And I just realized I don't have any of my analog cables out, so I'm gonna take one moment to grab those while you all look at how Bonk looks for the millionth time in all of my videos. I'll be 1 second.
It's so small. Couldn't even go full screen while you walked away, Bob. Come on. So if you have the composite palette, you can actually see it pretty well in Bonk. It changes a little bit of the color that he looks, the reddish color. Because one of the biggest changes in the composite palette is the way red is a little more pink. There's a shift. The work that they did on that composite palette, I was around for it. I helped testing and measure some systems, but I didn't do any of the heavy lifting. I learned some stuff from a lot of people who are working on it. Dave Shadoff, Risha, the other people that were kind of inputting in it, but it turned out pretty amazing. And having the ability to load custom palettes on an actual system is a pretty cool feature. And those custom palettes work for both HDMI out and for analog out.
Phil wants to know, aren't I supposed to be escaping New York? Yeah, this is the last week of work. I'm going to have one more live stream after this, and then the Q&A will be it. Then everything gets boxed up for good, which is, I'm not going to lie, a little sad. I love it here, but it's not sad? Being able to actually do a live stream without having to stop and go unpack 100 things between everything.
Yeah, you're going to have like more than one monitor and have an actual workspace set up? No way.
Yeah, shocking. All right. Let me switch over to... All right, so I'm going to start with some analog testing because it's like the only thing I'm good at. We'll go back to other stuff later. I'm using my RG bench, the device designed by Querdimoto with the 75 ohm load resistors off, because I'm also going directly into one of these mini monitors, and these are the ones that are super sensitive to all types of sync. So basically, if it works on this, it'll work on anything.
Do you see was it Tube Time who did the new chassis for the CRT tubes?
No, but we'll get back to that. Hey, Chris Stewart, thank you very much for the super chat. Chris wants to know if it's possible that this thing is just running a PC Engine FPGA core and only using the system itself for power. So I have a strong opinion about this that you don't have to agree with. It's just my own stupid opinion. But no, this thing is only using the FPGA for optical drive emulation and for super graphics emulation. And everything else is being used by the console. And it's my opinion that this is still considered original hardware, because if you wanted to, you could still use your same Hue cards. It still uses the same motherboard. So
the audio is still generated, and there's still RGB, even though they're tapping the digital. There's still RGB coming off those back pins there.
Right, exactly. So it's one of these things where you could argue that some of the features are hardware emulation, but I strongly believe that this should still be considered just original hardware. And the only time that you're talking about something being faked, if you will, is arcade card and super graphics and the optical drive itself, all of which I think we're happy to not spend the money in frustration on. So yeah, okay. So if anybody's looking, hold on, let me see real quick if I could just that gonna help a little? Sorta. Yeah. All right. Good enough. So if anybody could see here, how the top of the screen is curled like that, that has to do with the way these monitors process the sync. So Terraonion is doing nothing wrong with their sync output as far as why this is happening. That is just something that you're going to see in any of the H or A series BVMs, and possibly a bunch of other random monitors and stuff like that. So but one of the things that was asked was because they're digitally regenerating the sync, or if they are, and would it fix this? So the answer is no. That's totally fine. I just want to make sure I'm, once again, like, I have no problem sending blame, but if there's actually a problem, and this is not a problem, so I just wanted to make sure everybody showed that. So, yeah, Illuminato's here. I'm pretty sure he knows all about this.
Yeah. Yeah, he spent a while trying to figure it out with different Extron products.
So I'm in the 240p test suite, and we're definitely going to do some basic video tests first. Let's see, 100% color bars. So here's another example of the sync, but I'll also be able to measure this right here on the scope. You all should be able to see that in real time now, finally. Hopefully in my next setup, this will be much easier to pull off. Axel also wants to know how the RGB signals work. Is it from the console, or is it being reconstituted from the digital signal? So I'll show that again in a second when we do some screenshots, but, spoilers, it comes from the digital signal, which means you don't get any jail bars at all, even on a stock console. So that's super important. But we'll get back to that in a minute. So we're just going to do... all right, so here's the sync signal. Get this lined up. For anybody that's watched the video I did with Steve, we're setting the trigger to the middle. Stopping. I'm going to skip over this because this isn't a tutorial about how to use the scope. So I mean that with respect.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to make...
What are we setting
up? We are seeing 600 millivolts for sync, which is totally, completely fine. No problems whatsoever. So got that for sync. And then I guess let me... I'm not used to having like 10 different windows open here. So let me just write that down. Sync. All right. And let's go over and go for the colors. And this is using a properly built Genesis 2 cable. So as with absolutely everything else in retro gaming, if you use a badly built cable, you're not going to get these results, and it's not Terraonion's fault. It's your fault. Sorry to be a dick, but like, gotta call that out where, gotta call that out where necessary.
Is Mike Chi in the chat so he can yell about it?
All right, so we're looking at 672 millivolts on red, which I would say is perfect. You 714 is actually the perfect, but if you go any higher, you start losing information. So a little lower is always fine.
What did you set the video out at? I don't remember.
I don't either.
Default? So default is good for SCART. So we're good.
Okay. And here. So it lines up exactly for green, which is excellent. Because it's not so much that I needed to measure each one for voltage. It's that I want to make sure that all of the colors are the same output. Because otherwise it would be, that could be a sign of a bad circuit or a million other things. Arcade boards often have this.
Phil just sent you a super chat.
Thanks very much, Phil. What would I recommend for someone who has a heavily modded original SSDS3 and is now yearning for the composite color palette, but is using the PC Engine itself for RGB? Ooh.
It won't do the composite out of the RGB. It has to come from
the HDMI, right?
Or no, it comes from the analog as well.
Oh, okay. That's a really good question. I don't think I have an answer for that. I think we're gonna have to go through this and see, but I also think that a lot of this stuff really is determined by what other equipment you have. So if
Yep.
you already
I agree.
have a jailbroken, or not jailbroken, uh, a fully recapped console with an SSD-S3 and a RetroTink 5X, like I don't like you just leave it alone. So
Unless you but that composite color.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
if you don't want to get a mister.
true. All right, so we got that done for video. I guess we should try HD retrovision cables now, just for the
Yeah.
to be thorough.
So you have to swap the color out. So it has to
Well,
go
let's
from
see what happens
default
when
to
you just
medium.
don't,
Okay.
because that's definitely
You should definitely test it.
all right. Pulling up my cable here. Nice set of the rectals. These things have lasted so long. All of these cables are designed to be plugged in and then left alone. And just the fact that I unplug and replug them 100 times a week is pretty much abuse. But these things still keep kicking. All right. Once again, QWERTY got us covered with the RG bench. I don't have to mess with anything, which is really nice.
Does the bench break out audio from the
No.
cart?
And when I asked QWERTY about that, he said no one would use it. So I was like, all
Oh,
right, QWERTY, I'll make my own then. And that's exactly what I did. I broke out audio to 3.5 millimeter.
okay, because I'm gonna have to do the same thing because it's so useful for MD Fourier from SCART cables, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, sync issue still there with HD retrovision cables, but once again, that's completely and totally not the fault of any of the output devices. I have the spark plug here as well. It's not the output device. It's these that do it. So let's fire up another test pattern here. So this looks a little off. Am I wrong in that?
No, you are absolutely correct, Bob.
Not bad. So
It is significantly too bright.
okay, so what do you think the solution is? Do I touch the HD retrovisions?
No, it's so this was a problem that they came up with later on in development, and they actually shifted over to a. That's why there's options from default to medium.
Okay.
So
So what
if you
is?
go to the
Do you know the nature of the problem?
so the guess that Mobius told me was that because AC retrovision cables are using composite for sync, and the composite is coming from the console and not being generated by the FPGA, it's just using that standard buffer, the same one the spark plug uses, the same one the Renee's device uses. So it's almost like they're a little bit different. That was his thought, but I don't know for sure. That's just putting it out there.
Okay. Well, I want to just for curiosity's sake here, try the composite video out of this and see what happens. I'm going to turn my monitor off because it's going to go crazy and then I'll have to unplug it. And it's the worst monitor I've ever used, which makes it the best monitor I've ever tested with.
Yeah.
So this looks like a full composite. Is this a composite video signal?
Yeah, it's not a 75 ohm sync signal. They just buffered the composite from the rear pins. And again, this is why it's not emulating a system.
Okay, so composite video actually does still work out of here?
Yep.
Well, you know what? As you could all see, my high-quality Logitech camera, which is not in focus and not in the correct brightness, is going to have to do for now. Yeah, as you can see, these monitors tend to freak out for everything. Let me unplug it and plug it back in. Excuse my gut.
You're not getting anything from it?
Yeah, but it's the monitor, because if you can't see where it says input on the screen, the monitor's froze. I can't even tell you. Yeah, see how it says no sync channel 4? I can't tell you how many hours of my life were wasted trying to figure out what was wrong with the mod, and it's this thing.
Yeah.
All right, so you're actually getting composite video out of this, and this is composite video right off the board. So if you had jail bars, you're still going to have jail bars with composite, but not with RGB, because RGB is generated from the digital signal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to turn this back to component.
Hey, Artemio.
Hey, Artemio's here.
So yeah, I mean, that's now what you want to do to get the proper signal for HD retrovision cables is shift over to the medium palette or medium output.
All right, does anybody remember the in-game reset combo?
Start select. It's an easy one.
That's it?
Yep. Or start run, I guess. Run select.
Oh,
Hold
all
it
right,
for 3 seconds.
Got it. Got it.
Yep.
All right, so options. Video options.
Yep.
Analog brightness.
Yep.
Low, medium, normal.
Medium's where you want it.
Okay. You know, my opinion on this is a fix that easy, totally cool. It's something that I find strange that they had to do, but
I do too.
I mean, if the fix is essentially don't worry about it, then that's totally fine. But I don't know, that I feel like that could have been automated.
I think there could have been there's got to be something going on. I don't know if it is the sync signal. I mean, that would be a great question for Steve.
I already know what Steve would say. Steve would say, I designed my cables to be used on a Genesis 2. If it's not a Genesis 2, I don't want to hear about it. It's not my fault or my problem. Okay. So,
I'm going to submit a ticket today and see what I can do.
So we checked analog out. We checked the very basics of the digital out. I'll show some screen caps. I think because you're here, the next thing we should do is MD Fourier. How do you feel about that?
Yep. That sounds good to me. Artemio's here as well, so.
Perfect. The man, our Lord and Savior himself. Exactly. I have a Motu M4 going directly in. Once again, I'm not going to, this isn't an MD Fourier stream, so out of respect, I'm just going to say, please check out the website if you want more info, but trust us, we've done this before. So go back in. The 240p test suite should have MD Fourier built in, but that wasn't the last thing I selected. Let me also. So we're. Okay.
Hey Ace, what's up?
All right, cool. Switching over. So, in order to do this, I guess I'm gonna hook up the RetroTink 5X and connect the video that way. That way you could see what's going on, and we could do the analog.
That's what I'm doing at home.
Okay.
Yep. So, full disclosure, I worked on this in the last week. I've basically spent a bunch of time since my unit arrived, way back when they first came out with the Mega SD and the SSD S3. Bernard and Artemio and I kind of said, if you guys need, and as well to analog, if anybody needs help with audio stuff or wants help us run for us to run MD4A on it, we'll help you out. And so I put it out there. I helped. I ran some stuff for Crix when he came out with the Mega Everdrive Pro, and I jumped in on this one because they were gung-ho about using MD4A to tune the audio. So I spent the last week working with their NeoDev and some guys in the chat and trying to figure out how we can get the audio, first of all, louder. because the original one was pretty low.
240p test suite version 1.10. How does everybody feel about that? Is that a good enough version, or is there?
I think it's fine. Yeah, if the stuff's on there, it should be fine. I don't think the test patterns have changed, as long as it's the CD version, right?
No, this is the Q card version.
No, gotta get the CD version because the Q card version won't show us anything.
It won't even show us the audio from the Q card.
Yeah, but it's basically just the console's audio. It has nothing to do with the.
Oh, well, that makes sense. This says PC Engine plus CD-ROM.
Okay, yeah.
Is that correct? Right, yeah, in the lower right-hand corner.
Yeah, you got the right one then.
The man himself is here, Artemio. Did I do this right? Okay. Or is that just telling me what it's detecting?
Well, you'll see if you go to the audio tab. Go to audio tests.
Sound test, audio sync test are the only options.
Click on. So there's no MB4A there.
There is, yeah.
Oh yeah, go to sound test.
Okay.
And if it gives you CDDA and
no, so I'm on the wrong version. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I have that downloaded.
Yeah, I mean, we can show people where it is again.
Maybe I have it under PC CD.
I might be able to just flip it to you, eh?
Yeah, could you just throw that out on Discord or something, and I'll download it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna leave it on this view because every time I plug in the SD card, my computer or my Logitech camera seems to freeze. So I'm not gonna leave it on that view at all. Back here with the tweezers.
Let me see. I don't know if it lets me. I don't know if you can send zip files through Discord.
Well, I paid for the extra Discord thing, so we should.
I'll give it a shot. Too big.
Too big? All right. How about a link? Can you drop a link to it?
Yeah.
Luckily, I have fast downloads. I got 1,000, or it's actually like 960, and the fastest plan I'm going to is after taxes and crap, like $40 more a month, probably a little more than that. And they claim 1,000 down and 50 up.
Oh no! How are you going to upload videos?
I don't know. I want to cry.
That's brutal. So it's got to be ADSL or something.
It's Spectrum.
Is it cable?
Yeah.
So that's the thing about the difference is that cable was only meant to send data one way, right?
Yeah.
So that's what they do is they limit the uploads.
Ugh.
So they can get you faster download speeds, but it's not designed to do that.
I'm having a hard time finding the download. Did you find it?
Yeah, I'm sending it to you right now.
Oh, thank you. Sorry for the delay, everybody. Okay.
So then once you're here, just hit download now.
Okay.
And since you're already a Patreon subscriber, you can not worry about that.
Okay. For
the one just for
Super CD-ROM or just CD-ROM?
Super CD-ROM.
Okay.
So Artemio can explain the difference between the two, but it's basically how much data is loaded. So the Super CD-ROM one works really fast because it loads everything to the extra memory that you're given in the Super CD-ROM versus the regular CD-ROM.
Okay, of course my pop-up blocker killed that.
Yeah, I've had to use IE and Edge or whatever to get those for some reason.
Always something. You know, when I first started doing live streams, I'd get embarrassed when stuff like this happened, and now I'm really glad it happens on stream, so you all could see that I'm not lying when I say something that feels like it should take 10 minutes, takes a lot longer than 10
Yeah.
minutes. There we go. You're right. It worked in Edge.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. It's kind of annoying, but I thought it was my pop-up blocker too, but it doesn't seem to be.
All right. I'm gonna... I realize I'm on the wrong monitor here, but I'm just trying to get this done real quick.
No, I hear. So this will be good. And I sent you some comparison files, or you can use the ones from Artemio as well.
Yeah, I'll drop that in here too. I kind of like to do the whole to like take the time to do to save the exact tools that I use, because in case anything ever goes wrong, I could just say, all right, well, here's all of the test equipment I have. So it's
Yeah.
not just I use the 240p test suite. Here's the exact version I used. Here's the exact version of MD4A, which I'll do that now. And in fact, while I'm here, I'll grab the file that you sent me that has this in here.
So yeah, I recorded the other day. I have two files that I was using to test, was the Duo R and the Super CD-ROM 2. But I have a full suite of consoles that I recorded.
I'm trying to find where that file. Oh, it was in the other chat. Okay, got it. Okay. And any new versions of MD4A?
No, you should be good because it's the same version that we got last time to test the mini console.
Okay, perfect.
Artemio hasn't done anything in 2 weeks. Oh.
Okay, 240p test suite. We got this one. All right, and 4A. So let me not take all of the tests that we we did when we were doing the Mega Mini Drive. No.
So, if anybody has one of these yet, my measurements from here, there's a way in MD4A to actually like measure everything without normalization. Now, you don't want to do that 90% of the time, 99% of the time, because it screws up anything. Because if Bob is recording his stuff and he turns his volume up slightly, it means that I'm going to get a skewed figure because of that. But if I record on my system through the exact same stuff, it gives me values that I can compare for overall loudness between the two systems. And basically, what I did was record Super CD-ROM 2 and then compare it. And the launch firmware with the Super HD System 3 Pro was 14 decibels lower than a stock system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So spent time jacking it up and making sure it wasn't clipping, and we finally got it up to be about 4 to 5 decibels lower.
Okay. Now we're into audio tools. Sound test does show CDDA at APCM. And you can see in the lower right-hand corner, it's detecting all the extra stuff. So we're going to go into MD4A. And I'm going to set it up here. So last time you verbally bitch slapped me for getting this wrong. So let me... So should I be at 192 for the Motu?
Yeah, I like 192.
Okay.
And open up your buffer as high as you want.
All right.
Because we're not worried about latency.
Yeah. I'm so programmed for guitar stuff where I just want the lowest. All right. So we are doing in 3/4 from the Motu.
Yeah.
Shared, use device attributes. Yeah, that.
And then out whatever you want for the stream so people can hear those beautiful test tones.
Yeah, not happening. Definitely not. Not going to do that to any of you. Don't worry. I put the wrong length of time. Hold on. Sorry.
Okay. I don't know if you remembered, but at one point Bernard tried to sing the test tones, and then he did a comparison of his recording of him singing the Genesis test tones.
No, but that's
Test
hilarious.
It was pretty funny.
All right, so audio tools, MD Fourier, and hit record first, and play second, and just let this sucker go. I'm not getting anything though, am I? Or maybe I am, but it's very low.
As possible.
You could kind of see if you look over here, there is activity.
Yeah.
Because remember too, when I'm using the Motu's M4's interface, it's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be lower than normal would be.
100%.
So that should be fine.
It's so the first part is there we're seeing it now.
All right.
So
perfect.
now it's doing that's the ADPCM sweep, and this is the CDDA sweep right there. Oh, okay.
What's that?
Nothing. I can't see if it's done. It should be done.
All right. I'm so used to the Genesis one that takes a specific amount of time. So
yeah, this one takes 37 seconds, 36 seconds.
Okay. Save as wave file. MD Fourier, and we're gonna call this one
B dash.
What is this device called anyway? An SSD S3 123 HDMI HDCP? Like,
I think it's.
I'm gonna call it SSD S3 HD because I'm gonna know what that is.
Put a B dash in the front so we know it's yours.
All right, HD Retrovision. And is there anything specific I should label this?
Maybe 1.404, so you know it's the release.
Okay. That should be about right. Now you want me to run MD Fourier between that and the one that you had sent, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
All right, so that's the one we just took. That's the one T sent. MD Fourier GUI. I'll pull this over here so we could all see in real time how exciting some of this testing is. So we're gonna do this one, TurboGrafx plus CD-ROM 2, correct?
Yep, correct.
Okay, and reference file is yours. Comparison file is this one. And leave all the stuff, the default thing checked off, correct?
Yes, correct.
All right, execute.
Although I'll get you to do something afterwards to see if it works. As long as Artemio's not looking, we got to make sure he's not paying attention. I'll get a wrist slap. So when we get this, I'll explain some of the interesting things that I found. I did some comparisons with Mister as well.
Okay, it's still going. Alex Romero says the name is Super HD System 3 Pro. The Pro is trying to make a joke because the original Super SD System 3 was a joke about the Super CD-ROM 2. So 3 is more than 2. Actually, 3 also made sense because it's optical drive, hue card, and video. So that would also make sense. But yeah, whatever. Okay, open results. And here's where T has to explain to me like a child what we're looking at, because Artemio did a great job in the Mega EverDrive Pro video explaining this, but I only retained a small amount of that info. Sorry.
Okay, so let's start with the most basic one, the first one, not folder, the first file that pops up.
Yeah. Am I not sharing my screen with a virtual camera?
Yeah, no, okay. I can see it. You just got to go full screen on that. Okay. So what we've got here is the levels are pretty decent lined up together.
Okay.
It shows that it's pretty close to within the range of what the regular system was. Now this is normalized, which means that even if the stock system is louder, that this recording can be lower or higher than the stock system, but it is normalized to show on the most significant value.
Okay.
So the 80 PCM are on this, the curve is different for the low pass filter. You see how it kind of like goes up and then drops off?
Yeah, let me try. All
That's
right, maybe
purple.
that's easier if I have it full screen like this. So
Mhm.
80 PCM is this purple one. That's
Yeah.
this one that comes here and drops. Sorry about the murders and the sirens in the back. It's not gonna go away. And now when I move, it's gonna be replaced by screaming kids and lawnmowers. So I'm doomed. But
So
hopefully the frequency will be less.
that is basically how it goes up and drops off. That is basically the difference between that and the other one is the shape of the filter. And right now, the Super HD System 3 Pro doesn't have a filter shaped like the original filter. And I'll show you exactly what I mean when we go later on.
Okay.
And the difference on PSG, the yellow line there, is
Okay.
just that's a choice right now. And there's probably going to be two options to filter it or not filter it. This closer matches the Duo R the
Okay.
way it is now. And this is the compared to the my core graphics with Super CD-ROM 2, it's a little more. There's a higher low pass filter on the Super CD-ROM 2. That's basically it. So
So in layman's terms, though, what we're looking at is a very, very finite analysis of audio signals and different consoles that are, Core Graphics 2, the Duos, the Super Graphics, each output slightly different audio anyway. So what we're looking at seems to be a pretty decent representation of the original file that you sent, that was the Duo, right?
no, I sent you the Super CD-ROM 2.
Super CD-ROM 2. Okay. So overall, this is actually very good.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Okay.
Minus those filtering things at the end there. Now, the nice thing that NeoDev did was he created a configuration file, which means that I can play around with DSP filtering and learn how to do it. Ace sent me a program the other day that I got to figure out how to work, but to basically try to shape those filters to be more like the original. And we can do that without having to re-upload a whole firmware. You just replace the configuration file in the folder, and then the filters are modified.
So do you think, I mean, I know you're not the firmware developer from them, but like, uh, that would make sense to me that in future firmware updates, they could add the option to select configuration files. So like
100%.
yeah, so you drop a folder that says audio profiles on your SD card, and then you're allowed to select which one you want. So you could actually tweak it to sound exactly like whatever version of the console that you want it to have, right?
Yeah, yeah. And from my like kind of analysis of the different consoles, most of the differences comes down to filters and not really a ton on level differences between the two. And so you could have an IFU, a Super CD-ROM 2, a Duo R. You could have filter options that would represent those, and
Okay.
it could be fairly close to accurate as long as we can get those filters shaped correctly.
That's pretty awesome. And also for anybody that might not be aware of exactly what this means, I got to just be blunt and say this is something that you're either going to completely care about or you couldn't give a shit about. But the big but in this is it's exactly like color palettes in that if you haven't seen an NES in a long time and you grabbed an RGB kit, you plugged it into your TV and you started using it, you might be like, oh, I don't really remember the color that way, but whatever, until you see the tweaked color palettes where things look right, and then you can't unsee it, and then you have to have it. So it's one of these things where if you play on your PVM's speaker, you will never know the difference. But if you plug in headphones or if you have any decent speakers whatsoever and you hear the different profiles, you might actually hear one and go, "Oh wow, this my ears really like this a lot better. This one's definitely
Yeah.
for me." So
So if you go to the next files, we'll skip through the files and I'll
okay,
explain a couple more things. So one of the biggest changes and one of the biggest fixes NeoDev did was like 2 days ago.
okay, is that right here? This is the second file.
Yeah, keep going. I mean, don't go too fast because we're like a 2 or 3 second stream delay here.
Yeah, if you're on, if you want to view it, Twitch is quite a few seconds faster than YouTube.
Okay, I'll switch over to Twitch then.
All right,
Sorry,
cool.
Pat, I won't be talking. One second.
Yep.
I have two-factor authentication, of course, right? And
Well, I mean, that's only fitting, being as we're testing a Terraonion product. Do you need to put in your fingerprint and your DNA sample as well, or just?
exactly what I'm doing right now.
You know what?
I
It
mean,
is 1,000,000 degrees in here, so I'm gonna refill my water. Sorry for the pause, everybody. Hold on.
okay. Now I can see what stream we're on.
All right, I'm back and hydrated. Whew.
Okay, awesome. Just go skip to the next screen.
Okay. Rev says, and yet Terraonion products have not been cloned. So yeah, if I were you as the developer, I'd completely stand behind that, and I would be proud. Yeah. But as a user, it sucks.
So go to the next one after this.
Okay.
So this is the noise floor difference between the two.
Okay.
So
each of these represents a frequency, and this line represents how different it is between the two at each frequency?
No.
But
okay. Close. All the lines, so basically you have frequency across. Artemio marks some of the lines. This is a silence sweep. So basically he runs two patterns and then he records the sound of silence between 2 points. Okay. And then it plots all the noise from the silence on this. So that white noise you hear in the background, on most of my recordings, the Super HD System 3 has been louder. The noise floor is not as good as a stock system. I don't know what it is or where in the chain that's happening, but it's like you see here, we're looking at between 6 and 12 decibels louder in some spots.
Right. Up to 15, actually.
Yeah. So skip to the next one. That one's hard. I wouldn't get too picky about the 15 because that's your 15 kilohertz. That could be your CRT monitor.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah. So then the next one. This is the same sweep, but that's my system at my house. And then go to the next one.
And this is this one.
Yeah. So I've got recordings from you now, seeing this one. Mm-hmm. I've got recordings from Mobius, and I've got my own recordings. And it's not horrendous, but I'd put it in like Model 2 Genesis territory.
Okay.
For the noise floor.
For the noise floor, not for the pops and the hisses and the script. Right. Yeah. Just for the noise floor.
Active. Just talking about the noise floor in that thing. We're at 57 decibels, and you see it's not just 1 point at 57 decibels there. It's several points are hitting that. Mm-hmm. And the higher end does get better, which is normal, but especially with the filtering, that tends to take a lot of that stuff off.
Okay.
But that's there. So go to the next one. Or is that the last one?
No, there's one more. Phase difference.
Oh, phase. Okay, I think we missed. Okay, close this down.
Okay. Here we go. And is there another folder that you want me to check out?
Yeah. Go to time spectrograms first. That one, yeah. And click on the first one, yeah. Okay. So this is the stock system. So what we're looking here, you can see a couple of reflections in CDDA, and then you're seeing kind of the noise at the lower end of the ADPCM. Now, the ADPCM chip is Oki M5205, and it has a lot of quirks to it. I read through the data sheet last week and basically saying that it needs a low pass filter and it needs a bunch of work to make sure that it doesn't sound like crap. Mm-hmm. And what that does is is speech synthesis.
Okay.
So anytime there's speech or voice, and it can be used for other sounds and stuff, but that's what that's mostly coming from. And this is the stock system. So go to the next system.
Okay.
So this is the, you can see an 80 PCM there. It's noisier, but this is so much better than it used to be. So when
And it's
last
still
week when
nitpicking. You know, I got to keep repeating myself for people that might just be joining. What we're talking about here are very small differences now, and it's not. None of this is bad at all. We're nitpicking because that's my job.
well, this is good now.
Okay.
Like I consider this good. Before, it looked like a laser tag in there.
Oh wow. Okay.
So you had reflections all over the place, and I just kept bugging NeoDev until eventually he's like, "What if I do this?" And then he did it, and it worked. So
I mean, that's a real testament to NeoDev. How I mean, he's really always improving these things and always willing to listen too. So big shout out to NeoDev for that.
So you take a look at their CDEA though. Great, absolutely great. And so I did a comparison with this and Mister to kind of get an idea. Mister's 80 PCM is still a little bit better than theirs, but it's pretty close now. And they both have really good CDA. So it has to do with sample size and upscaling and upsampling and a whole bunch of other things. But at the point it is now, I don't think he has to worry too much more about it. It looks significantly better than it did before. And I don't know if it's within I mean, Ace could probably hear it, but the filter seems to be the bigger thing. So that's it for there.
Okay.
So if you want to close this folder.
Since we're talking about audio, it's a very generous super chat from Axel. Thank you very much. It's much appreciated. And the question that Axel has is, if you have like 16 consoles hooked up at once and you want to put the audio to a few different sources, like 8 different sources, what would we recommend? For analog, the video distribution, I've thought that the Extron crosspoints were absolutely acceptable. If you really want to take screenshots and zoom in and see if there's a difference, there is, but there always will be with analog video. But I've never done analysis through audio. I have on the G-SCART switch, and the G-SCART adds a filter, but it's one of those things where in its real world's performance is perfect. So what do you think about the Extron crosspoints for that?
They're great.
Awesome.
I use Extron. So I've done direct captures with MD4A, and I've done captures through the Extron, and I don't see any noise added, and there's no filter.
Oh, that is so good, because I've had many of those over the years, and I always unbox them and I plug them in to make sure they work, and I'll take a picture of it, and then it ends up going into a storage area or getting sold. And this time somebody was nice enough to actually donate one to me. Very, very thoughtful.
Crosspoint?
It's a 24x8. So that is what will be driving all of my, I don't even want to spoil it, but I'm going to be building something in the new place.
So I can tell you, like, just when you get them working, and especially for like a lab, I'm buying another one now because for a lab, I'm able to just close down one thing and then be like, okay, well, I need to send this to that screen, that test bench, and I can send them all without any worry.
That's pretty cool.
It is. It's really good.
And on the other side of things too, if anybody has like 2 G-SCARTs plugged into each other, so 16, it would be 15 consoles at that point, and you want to distribute the analog audio to different sources or to different targets, you could get a video or an audio video distribution amplifier. Those, you could probably use MD4A to test, well, not probably, you could definitely use it to test if it adds noise. But the good news is that you can find a lot of that equipment now that used to be $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. You could find it on eBay for like $10, $20 these days. So I would just, I would look into that. But that's, that's an important thing too. But I will, for me personally, it's going to be the Extron Crosspoint into an amplifier that was designed for analog audio. I'll talk all about that. To go into 2 speakers, no surround in this setup, because it's going to be just for all of my old games and laser discs. My one laser disc. There's no plural. I have Dune because I was hoping it would be one of the rare editions, and it wasn't. It was the same crappy edition. But all right, so
let's one last folder.
Yep.
Just the spectrograms. Spectrograph. Not the time ones, the other ones.
Right. Here we go.
Okay, so skip forward here. This is just the PSG.
Okay.
So this is on the stock system. You can see the filter at the end drops off. And then if you go on the
same
go
thing
to the
on
next
one. Yep.
And that's the difference between that little upsweep on the comparison. Yeah, I know, Bob.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, there was still I was just still seeing that one.
Yeah. That's how little the difference actually is.
That's awesome.
So I get that, like, it looks bigger on MD4A, but it is a very minute difference between the filtering on that, and it's only on the very high end.
Very cool.
Yeah. So you'll see the big differences when we get to the purple.
Oh, sorry. That's green.
Nope, that's green. Yeah.
What would this one be then?
Orange. This is CDDA.
Okay.
So CD audio. And it's basically flat 20 to 20. There's a little hump at the end, but it's nothing. So keep going.
Spectrogram for the 80 PCM.
That's it. Okay, so you're looking at this one, and then you want to compare this one to, you might have to open it up as well, and you can see the difference in the slope for the Super HD System 3. There it is, the bottom one.
So put these side by side?
Yep.
So my measurement's on the right, yours is on the left. Yours has a steeper down curve.
Yep.
But these
and
look
the other one,
very close.
Yeah, but this is what I want to work on, is that the filter, you can see the differences. You can see the frequency differences there, and that's what gives us the hump on the other comparison. So just shaping that filter better will fix the issue. What we did with what it is was try to keep it flat to about 5 before it rolled off, and that's about it.
Very cool.
So that those are the changes that are hopefully coming in the future. But as it is now, it should be pretty close. Once that aliasing got fixed and the levels were balanced and the volume was brought up, it's pretty good.
Yeah, so the real world performance is the sound cuts off a hair sooner?
It cuts off. Yeah, it cuts the super high frequencies cut off almost completely, but you're going to have a hump in the sound that you can kind of hear.
Okay. Well, that still looks impressive in the fact that, like, this is not anybody that's ever used those, like, Nintendo on a chip crappy clone consoles. This is not it.
No. No, it's doing a very good job of it.
So what about doing MD4A through the HDMI output?
So I haven't done it, but the HDMI and the analog audio are basically the same.
Well, we shall see. So the only thing this cannot do HDMI and RGB at the same time. If you try, it's going to default to HDMI. Which I don't think that's a big deal at all. And I think if you're a streamer, you most likely already have some kind of RetroTink product or something, even just to fall back on. So I'm not so much worried about that. I don't think that's taking away from it. And if you're playing on a flat panel, there's no difference anyway. So, all right, let me close this.
From a hardware perspective, I popped it open, and they're using just a DAC straight off the digital signal. So there's a digital analog conversion going on with the clock signals and everything that goes with it. And that's where the analog audio is derived from.
Okay, I want to make sure of something here. Can anybody hear that in the stream, please? All right, I'm being told we could hear it, so I got to figure out something because I don't want everybody in the stream to hear that.
Come on. I listen
uh,
to it every day. Crank it up on the headphones.
audio mixer. Let's see. Speakers. Can I change that? Board volume. Darn it. Mute device preview. Okay. Let's try this. Let's see if this works here.
Can people hear it?
I can't hear it, which means nobody else would be able to. So let me see if that was in the recording or not.
It looks like it is. I'm seeing it pop up on the mic there.
Keep forgetting it saves it in its own weird folder. It recorded it, but it's all messed up.
Hooray!
So here's the problem I have now. Well, let me switch views so I can just show everybody. All right. So the last time we did a stream where we tested audio, I used this device here. This little blue thing that you can get that captures digital audio. And I was able to use the HDMI audio extractor in order to do that. The problem that I have with this is the HDMI audio extractor is no longer outputting either that or this. One of the two is broken because I can't get digital audio out of it. I could try a different method, but then the problem is, well, I guess this will be a good test because I could try using the you can't see it. Just the standard left and right output of the audio extractor. But then you're also now worrying about the audio extractor's analog to digital converter, or digital to analog converter. So I'm gonna try it just to say we tried it, but I might have to do this off stream at another time when we're when I can just extract the audio a different way, I guess.
Yeah, I hear you.
I have a coax one plugged into my stream machine, which is not hooked up. So I can absolutely do this test. I just might not be able to do it on stream. So let's see what we got. This would still be the same because I'm using that back here.
How solid is your desk? Every time I watch you on one of these videos, it seems like it's always rocking and moving around.
So this was an adjustable desk that you grab a clip on the side and you could raise it up or down.
Yeah.
And it stopped raising up or down. And it was always kind of wobbly anyway. So I don't think I'm getting any audio through this thing at all. Let me... Oh. Let me switch views so you can see what I'm seeing. Maybe I just need to reset the thing.
Possible. I know that people have had issues with audio extractors. You can ask Rev in chat. I think he had an issue with an audio extractor.
Well, it's once again, this has absolutely nothing at all to do with the SSD-S3. It is only my setup, and once I'm in a real spot, this won't be a problem because I could just reach alongside of me and pull out a different recording device and be done. I don't have to unpack it. So let me try again. I wonder if the problem is my audio extractor. Funny, I got a post tomorrow coming out that talks about different splitters and extractors and stuff like that. And I emailed the company looking for a very specific one, and they emailed me back like, yeah, we have that. This is definitely what you need. No problem whatsoever. And then I ended up buying it, and they emailed me back 2 hours later like, it's actually out of stock right now. I'm like, well, what was the purpose of emailing me saying, you know, yeah, what a pain in the ass. All right. Any other HDMI capture solution I could use that would make this work properly?
Nothing I know of.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna have to do that off. I'm gonna have to do that in a different, you know, like off stream.
Mm-hmm.
That stinks. And everything else I have is boxed up. Unfortunately, like I'm standing next to 15, 20 boxes, and I don't even know what everything's in at this point. So, crap. HDMI testing, probably not looking good right now. I guess let me just.
Artemio, what do you want to play? What ADPCM sweep or what?
Wait.
Do you want to try a game, Bob? You wouldn't want to do that, would you?
Hold on. What about using a cam link?
I have no clue.
Let me test that. Let me see what that looks like. All right, let's go back over here. So I'm gonna see if I could try to. Has anybody ever used a cam link on an MD4A? Probably not gonna have the best
I don't think
results.
so.
Just gonna warn everybody right off the bat here. But let's see what happens. Plug one of these in. It'd be very funny if the stream just went dark right now. Let me plug this into a direct USB 3 port.
This is quite the setup here. This is a high quality retro RGB capture.
Well, actually, the fact that it's 720p, the cam link might look fine.
Yeah, it might actually do a decent job, and it probably won't do anything to the audio either.
Yeah, let me so I would need interesting. I don't want to upset the OBS window, so I'm going to use Virtual Dub just as a preview window so you can see what's going on.
I got about 10, 15 minutes left before work puts out an MIA and comes after me.
All right, I will absolutely make sure to not working.
I'm keeping my laptop here. I'm making sure I'm paying attention to everything that's going on at work, but they're gonna start coming at you, Bob. They're gonna say, "What's going on with this retro RGB guy? What are you doing hanging out with him? Should be working."
Okay. I'm able to see what I'm seeing through here. Let me switch this. Actually, let me just shut off and reboot Goldwave altogether.
Okay.
After you jump off, I'll do all the video stuff, but I really wanted to make sure you were here for the MD4A testing, and then I'll be dipping more into the chat for what people want to see. Okay, we have digital audio interface from the cam link. Okay. Back. Fourier, and try this. Okay, well, we're getting sound. That's a plus.
Nice. I mean, if it has a filter or anything like that, I can tell right away, and it won't bother me too much, and we can see if it affects it in any way. We can at least tell, if we can tell anything, we can tell what the cam link will do to your SHD3 Pro every time.
Sorry, I should have had it in that view. I forgot I switched.
Oh, you're up? Oh, yeah.
Hey, Carsey's here. What's up, man? Tianfeng's on Tianfeng. That's the right way to say it, right? Tianfeng?
Tianfeng.
All right. T's on call.
Carsey was holding down the chat over in the Twitch group.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
See, now you can already see the HDMI's louder, eh?
Yeah, but that's completely understandable.
Yep.
All right, so I'll run MD4A. By the way, the reason you're seeing my mic on this is because I was just making sure that VDub wasn't touching the audio at all. Pull MD4A. Oh wait, I already had it open. Close.
Did you? So what'd you save it as?
Same thing, but HDMI cam link.
Good. People are like, why does he care what he saves it as? I'm like, because I'm going to ask him for these files later so I can have them.
Exactly. Should I compare it to yours or compare it to the other one that I took?
Compare it to mine,
Okay.
and we'll do a quick run through. We don't have to talk extensively. Everybody knows already what we're looking at. So you're going to want to, basically what I would check is the main one and then noise, and then we're good.
Cool.
It should theoretically be significantly lower noise unless the cam link is really creating something.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if the problem was the cam link. So
it would be interesting to see regardless, though.
Okay, open results. So which one should I just run through these real quick?
Just go through the first one.
All right, so that looks very similar. It's the same drop off,
Very
it's the same
similar.
upswing on the yellow.
Yeah, and then just go to the.
I'm gonna go through real quick, like 3 seconds each. This one looks the same, right?
Ooh, look at no.
Yeah,
those reflections. So that's the cam link. That's sampling error from the cam link.
Oh, okay.
So those reflections, Artemio will find that interesting. So it's upsampling and it's doing it incorrectly.
I did set gold wave to 192. Should I do it at 48K?
No, it's fine. No, 192 gives you enough overhead. It's probably the way that it's working with itself. If it's coming out as 44.1, then it's upsampling to 48 or something.
Okay.
So go ahead and skip forward.
That looks about the same. Did it start as high on the analog side?
No, you'd expect it to be a lot lower, but I guess maybe the cam link's noisy. So go ahead and compare it to each other.
Okay.
Yeah. So Artemio is saying it's a conversion issue.
I have a backup plan too. Let me run this, and then
just run it. Yeah, versus itself.
Yeah, and let me grab something real quick.
Okay. You want me to run -N, Artemio?
Oh man! All right, let me see if I could do this without knocking all my stuff over. I am looking for my what is it called? Epiphan DVI to USB.
Okay.
I'm giving myself 30 seconds. If I don't find it, I'm giving up because who knows where it could actually be.
Sounds good.
Damn. I hate having all my stuff packed up. Well, crap.
So go ahead and open it up if you can't find it.
Yes. How the hell could I have misplaced it? This is definitely Steve's fault. All right.
So hit open folder.
Yep. Where am I looking? Difference?
Yep, same. Just go to the beginning. Yep. Oh, did you close it?
Oh, it's right here.
Okay. So, nice. Okay. So that means that the Epiphan has a low pass filter on it.
This is the cam link.
The cam link, sorry.
Okay. Well, that makes sense because it's for cameras.
It's doing a low pass filter on the audio, and you can see how they're all curved down.
Yeah.
So that's what that shows us there. So if you're running that, you're not going to get, if you were listening to that or using that for capture, you're not going to get accurate to what the system's putting out or anywhere near what the system's actually doing for audio. So you can see it's, yeah. And so it is lower.
Well, all right. Well, that's actually, a very good lesson learned. Don't ever use
Yeah.
the cam link to do this. Oh wait, I found the EpiPen. Haha.
Of course you did.
All right, trying this. Fingers crossed.
Okay, this is the last one. Then I gotta bail.
Absolutely. Let me get this out of here. Bye, cam link. Hopefully the stream stays up.
Yeah.
I knew I wouldn't have gone too far. I love this thing. The only USB one that I've used that works really well. It's not the only USB out one that works well. It's just the only one that I've used personally. I've had a bunch of people tell me some good things. All right, EpiPen capture tool. We get rid of this, and this. Pull that over.
Yeah, I guess Artemio is saying without further testing, we can't be sure that it's the cam link or the HDMI.
Well, here's the further testing.
Yep.
So all I should be able to do, new stereo 1.
But he's right as always. Don't jump to conclusions
I
without
stopped
further
the
testing.
recording. I stopped the damn recording, or I did the recording wrong.
Okay, you started in opposite.
Yeah, damn it.
Yeah, so you'll cut off the starting pulse.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. It's only 10 seconds, so I'm gonna just do it again.
So remember, start the recording, then hit start on the.
Yeah,
control.
I rarely make that mistake. So okay, record now button. All right, here we go. While we're waiting, Victor Romero just jumped in the stream and said they haven't gotten theirs yet, but it's coming this week. They have a Genesis HD Retrovision cable and planning on a CRT. Does everything work okay? Yeah,
Awesome.
Victor, go back to the beginning and just double check. You have to set the brightness to medium, but yeah, it seemed to work great.
Stop it.
Okay.
It's also filtering.
Is it?
I can see it from here.
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to get some fancier.
You see the way that it kind of looks like an arrow at the end, or I'm gonna say arrow for the chat, not a giant dong. I mean, wait.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly what is doing, because that's the high end of the frequency of the sweep on CDDA, and I can see very clearly that it's filtering it more than it should be.
Do you want me to compare to the HD Retrovision or to the Cam Link?
I bet you the Cam Link's almost a match. I do the Cam Link for fun because I can already tell you what it is.
All right, so I definitely need to get better HDMI capture equipment then.
Yeah, Tim Horn, no.
No, we went over that at the beginning. It's definitely not easier to take in or to put in and to take out the SD card. Ending pulse train was not detected?
Yeah, I don't think it picked it up. Ace, I want to answer Ace's question there. Is the Super HD System 3 Pro digitizing the Hue card, the HUC 6280A audio output, or is the audio section of the chip cloned with inside the FPGA to get digital audio? The answer is it's digitizing it. So it goes through an amp and then into analog to digital converter. I'll send you pictures later. I basically, no one told me this. I opened it up and looked at it. It's going through it, and then I identified the analog to digital converter, and then it goes from there into the FPGA.
Victor also wanted to know if a 400 gig micro SD card would work. Sure. Format it FAT32 with the utility I always link to in the site. But a 256 gig seemed to work perfect for me and fit everything that I needed. So if you already have a 400 gig, sure. But if you're going to buy one, I would buy the 256 gig. And that's retrorgb.link/Amazon. That's all the links to the ones I've tested, including the one that I'm using right here in this one, the Samsung one.
Okay, Bob, go ahead and stop it.
Okay. I just wanted
You're
to do
totally
a second recording.
used to the Genesis pulse. Do you think you have more time when you press start? The
Okay.
Genesis sweeps.
So here, select a profile. Now we're going
All right.
to the cam link just for the hell of it, to USB 2, and let's see if this one works. Definitely sad my HDMI audio. No, same thing. Ending pulse train was not detected. Why would that happen?
Artemio thinks it's butchering it.
Okay, so definite no for the cam link.
No, that was the cam link worked.
I mean, I'm sorry, the Epiphan USB to DVI.
This is so we found this in a lot of stuff. I think it was I can't remember his name, but he got a really expensive Magewell capture card, and it had a low pass filter on the audio, and he's at like 16 or something, and he was like, "Why?" And they're just like, "Oh, it makes things better." And he's like, "But I paid like $400 for this. I don't want that. I want flat. I can shape it afterwards myself if I want to." And
Yeah.
yeah, so even on the digital stuff, a lot of them come with that low pass filter built in.
Okay. If I thought the problem was the HDMI audio extractor, I would go grab another, but I think it's my digital capture card because it's done that before.
Ooh, that's an interesting comment from Artemio. So do you see what he's saying there?
Oh, so my capture card might be filtering it at 8
That's
kilohertz.
low. That's low.
All right, if you got to drop off while I'm gone, go, but I want to check one thing. I should be 10 seconds. Let me just...
Okay. But no, yeah, we'll take Artemio. That's a really good one. Don't delete those, Bob. We'll send them to Artemio and we'll take a look. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for a little bit longer and then say bye to Bob and chat and everyone. I gotta head out, but this has been fun. I always love testing stuff. I basically spent the whole last week staring at the screen. What's that static? Did Bob drop off? Is everyone dropped off? No clue. Yeah, no problem. I appreciate being able to use MD4A to be able to figure it all out.
All right, I'm going to regret doing this, but I found another audio extractor. This is gonna...
Okay.
Stream's going to get killed. You got to jump off, right?
Yeah, I'm going to jump off right now.
All right. Thank you very much for your help, Artemio. If you're still here, maybe you could assist for how I'm gonna check this next one. But
Artemio, you jump into chat. Throw your headphone on and get back in there. Jump into chat now.
thank you very much for your help, T. I hope I didn't get you in trouble
No
at work.
problem.
Later, man.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.
All right. So I guess I'll drop back to. Well, I'm in the wrong thing here. Let me drop back to main view so you could at least see what I'm trying to do here. Okay, so I'm getting rid of my Epiphan card now because apparently it was really good for video, but not so good at all for audio. And I'm really glad we tested that. Sorry to waste everybody's time sidetracking because now we're basically testing audio methods, but it's actually really important information for anybody that's ever doing any kind of audio test. So we'll give this Blue Bomber thing a try again, and we might lose. We'll most likely have an audio dropout on stream, but hopefully it doesn't kill the stream. Okay. All right, everybody, cross your fingers this doesn't just shut everything off. I believe I'm still working, so if anybody in the chat could let me know, can you still hear me? We'll go from there. And let me get these audio files over All right, my friend, they are in your Discord. And I'm going to disconnect this. I always keep the little rubber thingies on my optical audio cables. I don't know if anybody else does that. I don't know if it's necessary, but it makes me feel like I'm being safer with them. Going into a View HD audio extractor. Optical in of this thing. You barely see it, but that's my HDMI out, or that's going into the data path. HDMI in is this one. Set it to pass through. All right. I'm going to set this back to normal view so it doesn't look too weird. I don't want anybody just jumping on the stream to think it sends a bad aspect ratio or something. So leave that here. Fire up Goldwave again with the new thing plugged in. SPDIF interface, USB sound device. So let me... And we're not getting anything. So unfortunately, this USB sound device is dead. That's what I was getting all of my measurements from. I have one other method I could use off stream that I'll send to do an analysis of the HDMI output, but the very clear indication is that the problems that we were seeing were absolutely on the side of the capture equipment, not the main problems we just saw. So that stinks. Firebrand X recommended this card a couple years ago, and I think we all know he has an ear and an eye for these things, and I ended up purchasing it and it never worked. And then I returned it. I bought another one, and not only did it work, that's what we used in the last stream that we did with T, and now it stopped working again. So I think a Windows update killed it, which, it is what it is. But hey, at least I gave it my best effort here, and I'll try to get that other recording using a different method, but that might not even be fair too, because if it alters the sound in any way, it's not a one-to-one comparison. So I guess this is a note that I need to upgrade all of my HDMI equipment for capture as well. So I'll leave everything else plugged in as is because we're getting video through this. So now let's check other stuff, I guess. All right, so I guess the next thing we want to try is any kind of different settings and video options. Oh, perfect. And we're going to get joined by Artemio. Hello, can you hear me? We have Artemio joining at some point, but I cannot hear him.
Can you hear me now?
Perfectly. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing perfectly fine. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for joining. This is a very cool surprise.
Oh, yeah. Very cool surprise for me too. Thank you very much.
So, very unfortunate about my audio testing, but the one question, since you're here, I would like to ask is if I use an optical, so not optical, a coaxial digital audio extractor, is that going to affect the sound at all?
Most probably yes, but in a very, very, very small way. So it would work.
Okay.
That's what I use. I don't have any HDMI equipment to do direct captures, so I always convert with an HD Fury from HDMI to coaxial or optical.
Okay.
It's not perfectly transparent, but it's completely relevant for this test. The issues that would introduce.
Okay. So what let me see if I could show it here.
Yeah, no problem. If it's if this gets boring for the audience, because it's a lot of work to get a fully working setup that it's reliable. For HDMI, I found it so hard to believe that it's harder to capture HDMI than analog,
I
right?
believe that because with analog, you just need a good interface. So I have this
Yeah.
audio extractor that also does coaxial output. And then on a rig that is not set up at the moment, I have one of those M Audio cards that we talked about in the MD4EA Discord a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that should allow me to get the audio that way without too much being affected. I don't have. I would have to take this whole setup apart, and I definitely don't want to bore everybody in the stream with that. So I will. I'll get you those audio files later, and whoever does the final analysis video, probably My Life in Gaming, will. I'll give all of this files to, so they'd be able to tell everybody yes, no, or what it is. But I would just assume at the moment that the HDMI out's going to be the same quality as the analog because why ish there's nothing to suggest otherwise for the moment.
Yeah, I'm checking the audio file that you already captured, and you just saw that it has a lot of interference around that frequency. It's blanking out some spaces, and yeah, non-reliable for audio capture.
Okay. So I guess for other features of this, I think probably the number one thing people might want to see is super graphics because I'm using, well, I guess I've shown it before, but for everybody that's just joining, I'll show it again super quick. But I am using a Core Graphics with a Retro Game Restore clear case on it, and not a super graphics, as you can see. But this new one allows you to do just that. Oh, back. And because this outputs 720p and because the stream is 1080p, rather than try to stretch the image, which could distort it, I'm going to just have this window up. I think that's more fair because everybody understands that there's going to be compression, but the stretching might be a little misleading. So, very cool. Super Graphics is working without an original Super Graphics. Now, do you know if the Super Graphics generated its own audio, or was it just the video layer? Do you know how that worked?
Yeah, it's adding another video processor that's basically the same thing. So it's duplicating if you put in current system terms, you have two GPUs in parallel. So the Super Graphics is adding a second GPU to the system.
So it's not like
can combine
32X where there's a layer on top of another layer. It's actually generating in tandem with the original?
It's just like you said, but it's internal. So it makes the mix in digital or internal. It takes two BDPs, two GPUs at the same time, but they are the same kind of GPU. So it basically has two PC Engine GPUs inside of it, the BDPs, and then it mixes them and outputs the mixed signal.
That is very cool. So I'm sure we could use something like software emulation to see which layer is being generated by the Super Graphics if if that was ever a focus of a video or anything.
Mm.
All right. Well, that in itself is cool. I guess I'll go back and hopefully I have Nicole's game on here. I want to see Super.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What is it? Super arcade, Super CD with the arcade card and everything else. I would hope that I had hers on here. No Space Ava. Darn it.
Meanwhile, Daniel Black is asking about optical and coax and the clock stutter and jitter. Yeah, the thing is that the frequency that it's being transmitted from those digital audio could be completely off. For example, on the Super Nintendo Toslink mods, you get the 32 kilohertz signal, but it's really 32 something kilohertz because it's following the clock from the Super Nintendo's SPC. So yeah, optical could be better than the sorry, coaxial could be better than optical, but you have to measure that case per case. And jitter does alter the frequency since it's changing the pitch, but it's very small, but it's there.
All right. I'm kind of curious about this. I'll drop the link in both of the chats, but I want to try Nicole's game just to see how that reacts, because
Yeah, please do.
I think that's pretty interesting. Because hers, she said she had problems on Mister at one point with with one very certain setting, which then got tweaked and everything. It's very cool to see how these react compared to original hardware.
Yeah, because it uses it's the full combination, right? It's Super Graphics plus arcade card plus Super CD-ROM 2, which never happened commercially. One must add what these things do. The Super Graphics adds the second BDP, so it has more sprites and more backgrounds and can do simultaneous background scroller and mixing, right? And the arcade card allows it to load huge chunks of memory from the CD-ROM, and it's basically like having a full Strider game loaded on each stage. Basically, that's the possibility. And well, the CD-ROM is like having a huge pool of data, and you usually have to just grab like a spoonful of data from the pool and drop it into the memory of the system. And the arcade card makes that instead of a spoon, it's like a plate or a bowl, right?
Okay. I think this is everything. Yeah. All right. Cool. So I'll drag that right into the homebrew folder. Rev says that I need a config file to activate Super Graphics mode. It was working just now. I didn't see any problems with it, right? Try again. That's interesting, because it was definitely working. That was 1941, the Super Graphics game, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but probably he means the Nicole's game. I don't know.
I guess
Let
we'll
me
find out.
switch to Twitch because it's slower on YouTube.
Yeah.
There I am.
Okay. Oh, here it is. I was looking for a folder and it just showed the game.
Okay. There it is.
So it shows the arcade card. That was a fun little thing that Nicole added to that to the opening of that, and that's what that's the loading that you see now is she's buffering everything into the arcade card to make other loading better. And let's see if the Super Graphics comes up. I don't believe.
I love how they. Sorry.
You go ahead. I'm sorry. Discord cuts off pretty easily.
Yeah, I love how they used to make every single screen for specific hardware and special graphics and demos, and I love that Nicole did that as well.
Absolutely. Oh, Rev says I'll need a config file for Space Ava only. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. So that's totally cool. Rev, if you have a moment and you want to send that to me on Discord, that's totally cool. If not, at least we know. I mean, it's not something that has to be done with every game, but I believe. Okay. Are there any other Super Graphics?
You only need to create an empty file. So just create an empty file that's called ssds3.config.cfg.
No problem. Do that right now.
Yeah, but I don't know if it needs to be created where. That would be the question. In the game folder or This is obviously to communicate it to the SSDS3, not the game.
I'm gonna try the game folder and see what happens. Unless Rev. Oh, in a text file, put
Okay,
flags 10.
so-
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Rev. Long time no talk. Huh? Good to see you, Rev. So why is this needed? Because usually you don't have a way to enable the stuff, right? You have to tell it which hardware to enable. On other options like Mystery, you turn them on. You turn on the super graphics option, and then it's there. Here they need to know how they are going to enable it, but in theory, you have the super graphics has a small switch that tells it to be enabled in compatibility mode or super graphics mode. There was some shared memory where the games could detect the super graphics, but there were some games that did some mirroring, and this broke the super graphics. So you have that switch to have compatibility with those few games that didn't work. And I'm guessing that they have this kind of issue with the Super HD System 3, so you have to enable it, and it's obviously adding some options. Flags 10 is a mask that they are adding for enabling stuff. So there you go. You have it loaded now.
And did you know, is this the only Super Graphics CD game, or were there more of those?
No, there's this is the only game that uses Super Graphics plus Cd-Rom plus arcade card.
And as you can see, the background says Super. That's how you can know it's that's the difference. Not the biggest difference for the opening, but at least that's an indication that it's all working.
Yeah, from the hardware that they detected, right?
Yeah, if anybody is curious about this is a puzzler that Nicole made that uses the super graphics for some cool backgrounds. I'm not very good at the game, but I enjoyed doing the playthrough. I gotta have Nicole back on at some other point too. But yeah, very cool game if you're into puzzlers like that. So
Yeah, a big fan of Nicole's work. This is awesome.
yeah,
Something that we never had, right? The combination of using every single thing.
yeah, I'm a big fan of her blog too, and I make sure to never just skim it. Like whenever I read that, I make sure to sit down and have more than enough time to actually take in all the stuff that she writes about. I don't want to miss anything. All right. So, now as far as other features and things go, it's got the same as the SSD S3, but with the HDMI output and the super graphics. So, do you think that there's anything that you would want to see, Artemio, that relative to this specific adapter that you would like me to test?
Well, there's the issue you were talking about, the sync, because games are synced with the audio, right?
Mhm.
When you play cinemas in the games, you're playing the graphics and at the same time the audio. Some options come to mind, but they might not be the best in and not safe for work environments, like the Bailey's game that has the intro with the audio, and it's very easy to catch the difference, the delays between the lip sync and the video, right? But we can probably come up with some other game. Let me check the list of games that I know that I own, so I can probably think of one that does have cinemas in the intro. That would be good for this. Hmm.
Daniel Black said to check Space Harrier too. I'll see that one. I'll never turn down an opportunity to play a few moments of that. Not my favorite
Yeah.
game, but definitely a good one.
This is a HuCard game, so you are not using any of the. Oh, well, you're using the SSD3 HDP as a loader for PC HuCards.
Yeah, and that's something that, this is a great demonstration right now, because if everybody could take note of the solid color of the sky and how there are no jail bars at all, there's no interference. That's not possible at all with you know, with an
Well,
unmodified system.
There is something that you could test. You could test on the. I'm beating my own drum, but you can run the 240p test suite and check out how the different horizontal resolutions are upscaled.
That's a good idea too. All right, let me.
Because you're through HDMI right now, right?
Yeah. I don't know if my controller is not working right or if I changed a setting, but reset is not working anymore. Interesting. I actually think I used the regular version of Space Harrier, not Super Graphics.
No, okay.
But those are
Yeah, but there's no Super Graphics version of that official.
Yeah, I guess not. So all right. So 240p test suite. Do you want me to use the CD version or the other version, the regular?
Makes no difference, whichever you have at hand.
All right.
Since we're not using the CD-ROM.
Under video test or test patterns?
Just going to video tests and check out the checkerboard.
Okay, that's perfect. I don't know how that's coming through through compression on the internet. So my apologies if this is not looking good to anybody there. Or maybe it could only look good in full screen.
Out fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's fine in full screen, of course, because otherwise you'll get aliasing everywhere.
So right? I keep forgetting to ask you, what happens when you hit 1 on the checkerboard pattern and it
it's a very strange stress test that I came up with. It's flipping the checkerboard between positive and negative. So you get every single square that's white turning black and the same again. So a bad scaler back in the day would just go gray, full screen. And a good one would just flicker.
And that's what this is doing, just flickering. So very cool. Let me try the checkerboard in the different resolutions.
Yeah, just change your resolutions. I believe that you can just press select and change resolution inside the pattern.
Ah,
there you go.
These are all looking perfect. The aspect ratio seems slightly off between them, though.
Yeah, probably because they'd have to do horizontal interpolation like other systems do. They are probably just going for integer, or I don't know how they are scaling it, but there you go. You can get the resolutions, right?
Very cool.
You can also check the in test patterns.
For anybody with a good eye for color, it's the color pattern, or the color bars are up.
Oh yeah.
Obviously,
this is color bleed will be strange through online streaming, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, very strange. Sorry about that. Check the grid pattern looks great.
You can press. I don't know if the PC Engine version. Oh, there you go. That's the overscan. When you press the button, you get the overscan at the sides. There you go.
Are there many games that use a 512 by 240 mode?
No, well, no, there are not many, but it's completely possible. You can see that it's clipping some from the left and from the right. You don't see the full checkerboard, right? And this is, well, the full grid. So it's clipping some from, 352 is the resolution used by R-Type, for example.
Oh, most of the games that I've used had the 256 resolution.
Yeah, but there are examples of every one of them. That's good. 256 is good. Also, 320 is good.
Sorry, I keep hitting the wrong. There we go. 320 with overscan.
Yeah, sorry about the button mapping there.
It's just because I'm going from the SSD S3's menu to this one, so it's different.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see.
So it clips some pixels in 352 and on 512, right?
Mm-hmm. I'll show that again just for anybody.
I'm guessing that they do that to fit it to the 220 resolution. Because Because you're missing a few pixels on the sides.
So here's where, you know, I know this is might be boring for people who don't understand what we're looking at. And I don't mean that, I'm not talking down to anybody. I just mean that as a basic fact. And what we're seeing here, the reason why I'm staring so much at these is because you could see how these boxes that are generated as squares are stretched a little bit on this, and you see how it's cut off. So that really comes down to the thing that My Life in Gaming always does a very good job demonstrating of square pixels versus proper aspect ratio versus, of course, the shimmering if you stretch these wrong. So when you have something like the 320 pixel mode, I think this is just integer scaled and everything looks pretty square, mostly square.
So, yeah, Rev says it's integer scaling and that Sherlock Holmes uses 512.
Oh, cool. So
but you're right. You're completely right.
So seeing how these are stretched makes it makes a difference in how you're going to see the actual games. And I don't have time to do the side-by-side comparison. I'm sure My Life in Gaming will when they do their video on it, but that's pretty interesting to see because that means that they're doing a pretty good job scaling everything here. I'm just wondering how it would compare to like the Mister or something where each resolution, you don't really worry about it. The Mister just takes care of it for you.
Yeah, that's right. They have a lot of options for that. And also on RetroTink, you have a lot of options for scaling that properly, keeping the 4:3 aspect ratio. That's something that both the RetroTink and the Mister have done incredibly well.
You know, that's a great test too. Whatever test you'd like me to run, I'll do that, and then I'll switch over to see how these grids compare to the RetroTink, how they run through the RetroTink.
Yeah, that would be great to see. I was thinking about this version doesn't have the monoscope. You have the old version. No big deal. That would be the way that we could measure how geometry is being kept.
That
you
is
have
a great idea.
The latest version of the CD-ROM, the one that Tianfeng sent you, has the monoscope patterns.
So interesting. On some games, the in-game menu didn't seem to work, and on that one it did. That's pretty interesting.
Probably, yeah, that's strange.
Maybe it's CD based? No, because I think it did it in the CDs. We'll find out after we're done with this.
Oh yeah.
All right.
You just go into test patterns, and if it has the monoscope, then you're good. No, this is not the latest version that Tianfeng sent you.
Huh. I could swear it was.
Or he's using an old one. I don't know.
I got it right from you. I got it right from the main page. If you want to send me a direct link, I could try again. That's no problem at all.
Yeah, let me check.
Why don't you do that, and I'll switch over to the RetroTink.
Yeah, that's good. Let me just confirm that I coded it.
Where's my RGB cable here?
There you go. Yeah, we don't have the monoscope for this. You have to use linearity, which is not as good because we didn't work a monoscope pattern yet for the exact resolutions of the PC Engine. Unfortunately.
All right, so let me just.
But linearity will do. It's not as good, but it'll give just an idea later on.
So for anybody just joining, I switched from HD Retrovisions to standard SCART, and I had to change the analog brightness to normal, because that was something that we had showed before. It's not, I don't know if I would call that a bug. It's just something you have to be aware of. But let me go back into the test suite.
Yeah, because my linearity test is not as good as the new monoscope, but this will give you a very good idea with the RetroTink, right?
It should, yeah. I'm gonna put 1080p under, just so we'll know.
Go with regular 1080p, please, because we found out that some resolutions were not. Just leave that to generic 5.3, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best. And
Yeah,
I guess 1200p.
and yeah, I don't have a way to test that, but you do, so that's great.
All right, that's
Okay, just check the resolutions there and how they behave. Try turning on the overscan on the PC Engine with the button.
interesting. Okay, so you do the RetroTink does really format everything into a 4:3 aspect ratio.
That's right.
And you don't even have to worry. You just you basically just plug this thing in and let the Tink do all the work, and you never have to think about it. I mean, you don't have to think
Yeah, and
about it
there's
on
no
the
cutoff
Terraonion
on the
one
side.
either. You don't have to switch any modes on the Terraonion one. It's just it seems a little bit more uniform. Go back
Yeah,
to
this
that.
gives you the proper aspect ratio, and that's really hard to do because only the RetroTink does this, and Mister, as you said. Yeah, this new font is from the latest firmware, Retsuko. Changed about a month ago. There you go. So you don't get any cutoffs with the RetroTink.
No, it didn't
And you
seem
can check
to,
out.
and everything seemed to be formatted pretty nicely as well. And I know this isn't gonna look right on the stream, but it'd be fun just
You
to
can
show
also
this.
enable vertical upscaling, vertical scrolling if you want to. Just pressing, I don't know which one, which button, but I don't
Uh,
remember.
I don't. That one.
And this is you can change. No, you can change your solutions, but you can also. There you go. You can also change between vertical and horizontal scrolling.
Let me take the scan lines off. I just wanted to show that for fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
So I'll switch back to the SSD-S3 for this.
Yeah.
And just to show
And check
everybody,
that.
here's what happens when I have both plugged in at the same time, and it disabled the analog output and enables the HDMI output. So this is the SSD-S3 HD System 5 divided by 12, whatever they want to call it. But their scrolling looks pretty good too.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's an odd jump every few frames. Do you see that? It doesn't seem to be happening as much anymore. Let me speed it up and see if it's... I'm gonna get dizzy if I stare at that too long.
Yeah. We've all spent too much time saying this. You can also change resolutions here if you want to. So
Yep, I just swapped between, and
yeah.
that looks great. So I don't see shimmering.
Yeah, there's no shimmering.
So I know when I spoke to Alex about this, he was definitely concerned about making sure that the video modes all came out correctly, and he was also concerned that not everything was perfect. And I'm sure that we all benefit from nitpicking, but I think in its current form, it looks great. I don't have a problem with it.
There's also the thing about palettes, right? I don't know if I arrived late at the stream,
Mhm.
but a year ago, the Risha and several people like David Shadoff and Turbo X, they found, well, they already knew for a decade or more that the colors were incorrect on the all RGB modes and everywhere, right? Because composite video used a different color mapping from the real one, from the composite video. So this allows the use of palettes, just like Mister did, because this was fixed on Mister a year ago by Risha and a team of the David Shadoff and a lot of people that worked on it, Mike Chi, and they allow Now, changing palettes and the Mister Core uses the proper palette as default, but you can change between the typical RGB mod and load any palette that you want. And I believe they added that based on that work. I'm not sure, but I heard that.
I am going to test that. So I believe there is in video options analog color table. So I think this is something that I might need to load on the SD card as well in order to select which color
Yeah,
palette.
I don't know
If
where
Rev,
you'd get a palette in their format, the Mister palette, because, well, at least that's the only one I know, that the one that Risha and the team created.
yeah, if Rev is still in the chat, if you could send me one, let me message him.
Yeah, but the thing is that there's several games where this was noticeable, and
Alex just sent it to me. Thank you, Alex. Ah, awesome.
okay.
All right, I'll get that in now.
And they say that you can just take the Mister palette and change the extension to PAL, but it's built into the Mister core now. I don't have it as standalone file.
Okay. And for any of the team who's still listening, do I just let me know where I drop these files? Oh, there you go. Alex beat me to it. Create a sys folder on the root of the micro SD card. So I'm gonna do that live on stream so you all can see if I'm messing it up or not. And then palettes.
But you'll have to play a bit of a game to figure that out. The game is Startling Odyssey 2. There's an English translation, but you have to go out and just go to combat, and that would take like 5 minutes to check the differences. And this was something that was very obvious in that game, because the game has a sky in the battle arena that has 3 bands of color, and when you use a regular RGB mod or emulator, you don't see 3 bands, you only see 2, because the shades of blue were different. And with the Mister palette, it matches the composite video. We worked with vector scopes and a lot of measurements, math. Risha made a lot of work to make that work. David Shadoff and Turbox Ray had a lot of input in that. Several methods. Bernard came up with analyzing via editors and digital vector scopes. So it was a lot of work to get that palette working last year.
Yeah, I followed that and was just blown away the whole time. I was so impressed at all of it. Okay, so beautiful. Here's the options. So I'm gonna go to composite color palette, and it froze. Uh-oh.
Well, I guess a reboot is in order right now, and
All right. Well, power off, unplug, flip the power on with the DC unplugged to discharge the whole thing. Going back in.
Rev says that they are working on a bug and just don't flip on it too often.
Video options. So, all right, I'm going to press the button once.
Yeah.
Now we see, oh, it was selected as composite, so it's saved. So I'm going to go back down. Okay, cool. And I'm going to fire up the same.
You can load Bunk, for example. Bunk shows a lot the skin tones. That's an easy game to show us some difference.
Yeah, I just took a capture of the SMPTE color bars before,
Oh,
so
okay.
I just want to do a quick comparison of that. Pause it. Gotta do it the opposite way. Oops. Okay. So I'm not sure if this was the best way to demonstrate, but the composite palette's on the right and the default is on the left.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
Yeah, I think Bonk would have been a better example. So I think you're right on that one. Let's switch over and use that. These are our previous ones. I'm just gonna delete these because, well, I'll leave them there for later. But that was when I was testing an older version. Let me test here.
Yeah, the best game is obviously Startling Odyssey, but you need to have the save game or at least play to that point, and it's quite obvious.
So Bonk
But,
1 is what you said, right?
Yeah, Bunk One, we kind of use that to check on skin tones. Just press start and get into the game. Yeah, there's Tianfeng saying that Startling knows he2. Yeah, that's the best option, but he doesn't have a save game. I don't know if I have a save game here.
Okay, so I'm just going to take a shot of that. Whenever I take these, I always pay attention to the lava in back and try to match the pictures to it.
Yeah, because that will affect. But the rest will be good.
So, Bonk.
This is with the composite palette, right?
Correct. Probably spelled composite wrong, but well, I got it right. All right, now I'll flip it over to the other one, and yeah, if anybody has a save for Startling Odyssey 2, I could add that to it. But okay.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Let me check if I can find one.
Okay, so color table is default. I'm gonna go back. So that did save, confirmed, and load last game. And I believe these palettes can be hosted. I don't think there's any kind of copyright on these at all. So I think this is something that, anybody could host on a website, myself included. So
it was made by the Mr. Team and David Shadoff and Mike and Turbox Ray and myself and Bernard and Tianfeng. So we never licensed it or anything. It was just work for Mister because it was the way that we could figure it out. Obviously, I don't know if this applies to the RGB out on this hardware, because I don't know if they are digitizing and recreating the RGB or if it's a straight RGB.
Well, this is coming directly HDMI out of the SSD.
Oh, I know,
at the moment,
I know.
So.
But I don't know. What I mean is I don't know if the analog out uses a palette.
Let me zoom in a little closer here. I'll use my old paint trick.
What I usually do is have them both have one open and just flip between them with right and left. But this would be good as well. Yeah.
Is that default and composite? Okay.
Always fun to do this live, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think people have been pretty understanding in that, if they see a video that I've put a lot of time into, then they know that it's going to be a little more fun. But these live streams are all work in progress as we stream. So I think people have been pretty cool.
And it's interaction with the audience as well. Okay, Tianfeng says that it's analog made from the digital, so that answers that. The analog out uses the palettes.
Am I crazy or am I not seeing a difference?
I'm not seeing much, but Rev says that when it crashed, when you loaded it, it might have corrupted and not load anything.
Interesting.
So who knows?
Yeah, Mobius, I'm capturing the HDMI output right now. Did you want me to go through RGB instead? Oh, I set the analog palette, not the digital. All right. Well, let's.
Ah, okay. So you have separate setting for each for both. There you go.
So that's a very good thing to note then, I guess, for anybody using this. So video options.
So we're learning live.
Oh, I was testing the analog color table, not the digital.
Hmm.
Why wouldn't that be for any of the team or for you, Artemio? Why would anybody want that separate if it's not a dual output device? Is it just more
I
control?
don't know, but it gives you more control. I like it being more control, but I understand completely the confusion that it can generate. But I like it that way. but it's probably not the best idea for a layman user, right?
Yeah, I think stuff like this always benefits, and I've been bugging Mike Chi about this as well, but it always benefits from, yeah, it's a big difference now, from an advanced mode. So, basic
Hmm.
settings that anybody could use. I'm just going to overwrite this previous file because,
Yeah, so you can get the proper.
yeah, so here we go. I might just be able to do side by side or
Yeah, probably.
yeah, all right, composite.
Yeah, I like more control, but yeah, it's confusing. I've,
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to set this up side by side because that looked pretty cool when I
yeah.
was flipping between them. Yeah, that's not a complaint or a criticism or anything like that. I was honestly just curious. There was no undertones, but you could
There you
definitely
go.
see the blue, you could definitely see the skin tones, you could see the signs, the level 1 with the arrow, you could see the rocks on the bottom or whatever you want to call that bottom part.
Yeah, it's very different, and also there's detail that you lose when you and Startling Odyssey 2 is the perfect example because the overworld shows it, and also the battle. You lose detail. Grass looks worse. Okay, Tianfeng, you don't have the save game? Let me. Save. Okay, I have the save game now.
Oh, awesome. If you wouldn't mind just dropping that in chat. Huh,
Yeah,
that's
sure.
pretty interesting.
I didn't see what you were doing. Sorry, because I
It's
was
it's
getting this.
still up on the screen. It's just the side. I have them right next to each other.
Okay, let me just send it to you. This was made by Bernard quite a while ago. So there you go. There's the save game. I don't know what you'll have to name it. Probably you have to create one and rename it to whatever it needs to be, but watch it now.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, that's very different indeed.
All right. I will while this is up, I will power off and add it.
It's so much more orange, right? In the default
Yeah.
RGB palette that we've been using for decades now. That's I was tempted to say wrong. It's just simply the straight conversion. And we didn't know, well, some people are like Turbo X-Ray and David Shadow knew and a lot of more that it was different, but many of us didn't, right?
Right.
And there's a bub folder down there.
I just want to get the exact
Uh,
same.
Name for Startling Odyssey.
Yeah, would that be
2.
under TurboGrafx?
No, that's a Super CD-ROM 2 Japanese game.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you have it. If you don't have it, I can. I have it here. I could rip it and send it.
Startling Odyssey. Okay. So
Startling. Yeah, that's it.
so I would have to name it the folder name or the Q and ISO name.
I have no idea, but you can check the PUP folder that you have. And meanwhile, you can copy it and check what the names are. There you go.
So with Space Ava, let me just compare that. Um,
Yeah, Chris Cobell. Yeah, his work, man, that's amazing.
all right. So it looks like it's taking the Q file's name because that's what matches up
Okay.
with Space Ava. So
you need to name it whatever the Q file is.
Start the Odyssey. All right. And I'll drop these off. And sorry, it always takes me so long to get this SD card in.
No worries. Take it easy.
There we go. All right.
Oh, this. What's up, Tianfeng?
Also, Axel wanted to know if there's an upscaler and downscaler with both HDMI and component inputs and outputs. Same thing. Oh, yeah, I see T messaging as well. So just to get to Axel's question real quick, you can accomplish all of that with both the RetroTink 5X and the GBS control. All you would need is the is a cheap digital to analog or analog to digital converter. You don't need any of that other stuff. So I would just check the Amazon or retrorgb.link/cheap DAC and use those. T says I'm using Startling Odyssey 1, which is supposedly not the right one. I'm supposed to use the second one, right?
Oh, I didn't see. Sorry.
My-
Yeah, you need to use Startling Odyssey 2.
Totally forgot. Sorry, my bad. Thank you for
I was
catching it,
checking the
everybody.
chats. Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Okay, let me see then.
And PC Engine, Super System 2.
Hope you do have it. Not.
Yep. And cross your
Okay,
fingers that it
good.
works. I think I missed it a while back, but Ritsuko Hug wanted to know what the RetroTink text font is. If you just update the firmware, it's got the latest font onto it. I probably missed that a while back.
Yeah. I did reply, but I guess it was only via text. I don't remember.
Okay. Super CD. And Alex sent me something that I'll test after this as well. I've actually never played this game before.
It's really pretty. It looks good. I bought it after we made that work.
So do I just go?
Data there's it found no data. That's a start Hajimeru, and the last one is erase.
Should I just hit
So,
start and
no.
see what file it creates?
Yeah, start, but probably you'll have to yeah, Hajimeru means start over. It's not seeing the save file. Load. Oh, there was some load there.
Okay.
Hopefully it loaded. No. This is the start of a game.
This is a CD game, and these are loading times.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to know why the screen went black, it's just this, the same time it would take for CD-ROMs. All right, I'm gonna try. Okay, I hit the button in the back to reset. That should save everything. I go back to the main menu and see what it created. I forgot if these require another game to load in order to copy the save file over, like the old ROM carts used to. So I just fired up Bonk real quick just to see, and We'll put this in.
Yeah, just to make sure. Good thinking.
All right, so be up. Interesting. Didn't pick up on it,
Okay.
and it didn't save a new one.
That's
All right, well,
that's strange.
Let's let me see what else I got here.
I got another pop here if you want to check.
Yeah,
Made by David Shadow for
I will try that as
a few
well.
years
And
ago.
I also wanted to load up the at some point the NES core that Alex had sent over. I certainly have
Oh, yeah.
some
Okay.
thoughts on that. Now this isn't a final one. This is just I'm not even going to play the audio on it. This is just kind of a fun thing. So all right, you said you had another file that you might want me to try.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I have this one as well.
here we go. Yep.
Yeah, to get to a save point, Rev, it would take like 5 minutes. He just wanted to see if the interface created one, but no, it wouldn't happen. I understand. But he would have to play like 10 minutes to get to the place that we reach a save point, and that's where we wanted to skip with the save because it's the first save point from Startling Odyssey 2 where this happens.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of people drop off and come back on stream. So if you're kind of new and you haven't figured out or if you haven't realized what we're doing, we're doing a deep dive test. This basically all the behind the scenes testing I do before I make a video. I'm just not sure if I'll be able to make a video now because I'm gonna be moving next week and I'm gonna be out of touch for for a while. So. So far this thing's performed excellent. I don't have any complaints. We're at this point just nitpicking and really testing every little aspect and showing showing a demonstration of the different color palettes and stuff like that. But basically this thing's awesome. Now we're just kind of going through and digging deeper into it.
Yeah, we're nitpicking. And the work that they did on audio during this week was quite a lot. And they're going to keep on improving it. The few small details that Tianfeng and Mobius found, right?
All right, I believe this works. All right, I think we're in.
There you go. Awesome. I was checking my Mr. Save game, but now that you have it, I'll turn that off.
So right here,
now just go out. Yeah, go out, please.
Bottom. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, bottom from through that door, and just go outside. And outside the town, just try to find a route outside town. Just go down.
Down is faster. Okay.
Yeah, please. And okay, grab a screenshot from that field.
All right, we're still in composite.
And check out the grass, how the water looks, the colors of the capes, and everything.
Okay.
We'll be able to compare it. And you want to just walk around and find a random battle?
Sorry, I reset by accident.
Oh, because we're grabbing two screenshots because the other one is quite telling. Sorry, I wasn't fast enough with the lag from the.
Yeah,
the
sorry about all the lag and everything, but we'll get through it. And now, I mean, the hard part's over. Now I'll just load the thing back up. So. Hung Lee, does Bob play games? No.
You reach a point where you only test stuff and develop stuff and and talk about games.
My hope is that when I move into this new place after I'm settled, everything will be so much more efficient that I'll actually have time to play and not just test.
That's good.
Should I go
Great
up
to
for a
hear that.
battle? I'm trying to look for.
The battle should happen anywhere here. So
Okay,
there you go.
so
And just grab that.
this is the screenshot that you wanted, right?
Yeah. As you can see, there are 3 bands of color. When you don't use a palette or a color profile or however you want to call them, you don't see that. And this you can test like modded Turbo Duo or Core Graphics or whatever, and output composite, and you'll see these bands. Output RGB, and you won't.
All right, map and composite. Now I'll reset, right?
And get change the palette.
Okay. Interesting. It's not resetting now. Oh wait, there it is. Is this it? Huh. I'm holding start and run at the same time. Nothing. So is this I wonder, is this a side effect of the game that you're playing? Is it CD versus Hue card? Because when I was in the 240p test suite, I was definitely able to go back to the main SSDS3 menu by hitting both at the same time. This one, what you see now is I held the button down and back, which is how I got back. Interesting. All right, go back to... T says hold it longer. Yeah, that's why there was just a boring screen with nothing on it. I was holding it the whole time. I ended up holding the button down and back. But as I showed at the beginning of the stream, for anybody that wanted to check that out later on, I showed the whole like unboxing and overview of this. In the back, there's a button that you could hit. You hit it once and it's reset, and you hold it and it resets the menu.
So this saving was 20 minutes in, so that's good. We still were faster than that.
I could already see a huge difference. Wow. Okay, so let me take a picture of this. Oh wait, no, I was supposed to be at the map, not outside the door. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
You see, there's no bands.
Ah, this is interesting. Okay.
That's why it's a perfect example. Because you're losing something, and you'll see the grass and the capes. And I can't stress enough that this was the David Shadow's, Risha, Samamai, and Mike Chi work for originally Mister, but of course it has no specific attachment, but it was work that was implemented into Mister by Risha.
Yeah,
and thanks to Turbo X-Ray, Tianfeng, and everyone.
So I know this is blasphemous here to draw, but that is about the line that you would see. And I'm getting a glare on my monitor here, but you can barely see it with a regular palette, whereas it's very obvious in the composite palette. Interesting.
And check out the grass. It changes a lot. Just down below, you'll see that the grass gains detail, and the green from the trees is very different.
That is very cool.
The cape, it's very different also. Shading in the grass is different between the contrast.
Man, that's so interesting. Just the color palette makes such a massive difference.
Yeah, and the overworld also shows the grass a lot more patches and everything.
I'll show that as well. Yeah, and once again, we nitpick about this stuff because when you're playing, your eyes might not notice the very little details, but as a whole, you definitely could feel a difference, right? It's like I always show that test with Link where I'm zoomed in 1,000%, and you're not gonna really know the dots on Link's face while you're playing, but the overall effect of the sharpness you absolutely can see. It's just easier to demonstrate in these videos when I do it that way.
And there's another thing. It's a preservation. In 20 years, we don't know if people will be able to have composite equipment to check out these differences, and we need to push them forward for them so that they can have as close to. I know it's not perfect. I know there's you're not playing on a CRT, whatever. Yeah, but we are trying to approximate or preserve or document as best as possible these differences so that they are pushed forward for the future.
I totally agree. Absolutely. So even in the uniform shirt, whatever you want to call it, shirt pants thing, the reds and oranges are much different. Like, this is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tien wants me to do the RetroTink 5X and composite out to compare to it. So with the composite out would be untouched from the console, and that would be the original. That would be what we're
That's
trying
good.
to emulate here. So that's actually a good
Yeah,
idea,
that's
T.
right.
Let me
Yeah, it is a good idea.
All right. Hold on, I just need a moment to unplug all this stuff.
No worries. No worries. I can just reply to the chat and you just take it easy. I know how to wing this. Don't worry.
Much
And
appreciated.
no problem. And yeah, it's a very good comparison. The props to the people that did find this and also that found that this game was a perfect example because finding that screen that shows so much difference in one take is I mean, it's a game changer. Was a game changer for us as a reference, right? And the Risha, when we worked on this, Mike Chi made a pure mathematical decomposer from the screens from Crisco Bells and the 240 Test Suite's color screens. And David Shadow made a custom full screen palette. The full range of colors from the PC Engine was shown on screen, and we use vector scopes. That they are this composite equipment from the TV, old TV days. I have a few here, and what we would do is connect this vector scope that's calibrated to demonstrate and show a pattern, like a star pattern that shows how the color is distributed and how it's curved between the proper values. And I would set up a camera in front of the vector scope and on a tripod and never move it and just take screenshots and compare between palettes that we were generating. And Risha made a software vector scope to decode from the Mr. screenshot to a vector scope, a digital virtual vector scope, and compare the colors from a real console to what was being generated. So it was such an amazing, I don't know, effort. It was it it was really fun. It was really fun, and I believe it was worth it. And
Oh, I hit
there's
the wrong.
people working on S-Video to try and do this. Yeah, so there you go.
Battle.
That was fast, man.
Okay.
You're really good at this, Bob. I might add.
Thank you. I'm hopefully it's just gonna get
And-
easier when I actually have access to everything that's not in bins. But I got lucky because what I needed happened to be right next to me. So
Good.
all right, default. I'm glad I was able to set up a second monitor today. It's just so much easier for people to, or for me to demonstrate everything just by screen sharing here.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
So we're obviously not looking at clarity here. We're looking at color.
Yeah, because it's RetroTink is doing an amazing job at upscaling this. It's composite video. I know the PC Engine composite is awesome, but still, this is digital HDMI and RGB captures, right?
Right.
Check out the color.
Wow. And now you get the color banding up here too.
Yeah, there it is.
I think that's a great shot right there. I think that really,
Yeah, it is.
that's a good demonstration of exactly what this is like. Because that way, anybody seeing, you're not even worried about the clarity. You could totally see the banding on the right. Um, yeah. So that's
And,
how
how it follows the original. Yeah.
Wow, that's so neat. And I mean, you can, it's probably going to be hard to see here, but you absolutely could see the line there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Wow.
that. Yeah,
That's
it is.
really cool.
It is that. Yeah.
All right. Do not save. Don't mark up my pictures.
And I must say, this palette was not generated like nitpicking every single color. No, it was generated from math. So trying to follow the same process. What Risha did was create the formulas based on the NTSC standard and what we were seeing on the vector scopes to match the range, not just like pick every color and select from a color picker. No, this was math and it was reverse engineered.
All right. What else?
And it's awesome that the capacity to load this, so you can have the palette that was made by the team.
Oh, you know what I just realized? I put the NES core on there, but I didn't put any NES games. Let me add that real quick.
So to pick up the Delta Spirit is asking if can we get a RetroTink 5X RGB comparison to the 220p digital from the SSD Pro. Yeah, I guess it could be done, but obviously that won't have the palette from the real PC Engine. It should be as quote unquote wrong as not having a palette loaded, right? It would be the default RGB palette.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing you want to see clarity.
So I could definitely do that, but here's the problem: is that the RetroTink 5X was never optimized for 720p. It's 720p, 768p, 540p, and there was one other mode, but they were all added specifically for people who have older panels so that they could run in their target resolution. So overall, if I was going to do a comparison, it would really have to be maybe 1200p, and then I'd have to try to find a way to resample them. So I could do that, but I think that's going to be something that I would wait for My Life in Gaming to do their side by sides, because I could do it here, but it would be still pictures and it would be a stream of me getting Photoshop to integer scale properly. So
and also, if well, you're watching us on YouTube, you can just like rewind the recording for about 30 minutes, and you'll find the comparisons we did with the 240 P2S suite, with the RetroTink, and HDMI using the grids, and you can see how aspect ratios and everything compares. We did that with patterns.
So it's interesting, when I was resetting before, I reset by holding down the two buttons and it worked, and sometimes it doesn't. So I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, if that's a bug, fine. Of all the bugs to run into, I could care less about that. But it was just something to mention, just in case anybody ran into that.
It's the consistency, right?
Yeah. I think I was supposed to change the resolution, but oh no, it's working. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So here's something that I have mixed feelings about, right? So there's an FPGA that's pretty powerful inside this thing that's able to run an NES core, which obviously would work perfect with a 2-button controller for, all the right reasons. Same with Game Boy, Game Gear, Master System, anything like that. And this seems to be playing very nicely. I just the color palette's off, obviously, but
obviously, yeah.
My thoughts on this though are I could be wrong, and I apologize if I'm looking at this the wrong way, but if I want to play original hardware, but I also want to get digital output, and I also want to have an optical drive emulator and a HuCard emulator, this thing's the win, 100%. But if I want to emulate other consoles, I'm gonna get a Mister. And I don't mean any disrespect whatsoever.
It's a fun little toy. I guess that's the whole idea, right?
Yeah, and
And
you
that's
know,
it.
I guess if your main focus was games that are two, or I guess if you also have a 6-button controller, so the fact that it was just running those is absolutely killer. Um,
Now you're gonna run the MD4E on the NES and check out how it's simulated here.
let me see.
No. I'm just kidding.
Okay, so this is it does automatically set the output to 720 by 480. So somebody in the chat picked up
Mm.
on that. All right. Totally cool. But Alex said you can load the NES color palette if you want. So I don't know. I think this is really awesome. I mean, you know what I can absolutely see this being used for is somebody that has a stock NES that, you know, with just composite video output that wants a clearer out for it. That would be a completely perfectly good use for this, because now you don't have to mod your original NES. You can keep it stock. And if you want to use it on a flat panel, now you have a crystal clear version of an FPGA version to do so. But I guess my conclusion on the core is that I wouldn't tell people to buy this because of NES support, but if you're going to buy it for all of the reasons that are PC Engine related, definitely give it a try because it's pretty neat. Yeah, it's really hard to play games through a capture window.
Yeah, it always is. Even if it's the datapad, because datapad is really, really fast. But anyway, you get some lag, and Contra doesn't help.
Yeah, and the vision window just crashed.
Yeah.
And I just got an unknown server error. Well, lucky for me, I have 2 capture cards hooked up to this machine. Does your datapath software ever do that? Just crash like that?
No, it has never done that to me.
Oh,
Not
mine
yet,
does
but
all
I've
the
had it only
time.
for a year and a half so far.
Oh, really? Mine always does that, and it's done it on different towers, on different software builds, on different operating systems. So I assumed that it was a bug if you change resolutions or something too fast. But I have another one plugged into here, so I don't need to reboot the computer. We could complete our.
Well, I probably haven't been used so extensively. I've only used it for like the no context scene streams and all that stuff, and I don't change resolutions that fast.
All right, so at least we still have everything here
There you go.
set right. Okay. So I'm trying to think what else to demo and to talk about here. Overall, I mean, you know, this was the whole purpose of this stream was basically just everything that I would have normally done to test this for to prepare for a video, but I probably am not going to have time to do the video. I think I'm just going to give all of the captures and this footage to whoever needs it, My Life in Gaming, you know, Digital Foundry, anywhere else.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, I was a fan of the original, so I'm not going to get too deep into the you know, the hue card and optical drive support, because I always loved that. I never had a single complaint about either of those. I was really just concentrating on the audio and video output of this. And I just think the number one thing for people to remember is you could plug this into a completely stock, unmodified console and get good RGB and HDMI output from it.
And I might add, there is this other option that was not explored here because it was not the intention: the ability to dump hue cards. I have a fairly decent collection of them, and I built my own dumper, but this made it so easy. If you have a huge collection of hue cards and have this device, please, please, please dump them and check if they are all the same version that's already been dumped. We need to push forward for preservation. This makes it so easy to just dump the hue cards to the SD card.
Thank you for bringing that up. Excellent point. By the way, for anybody, that's what I was using right here. Retro Game Restore case and the shell. A lot of people mentioned that there's better overlay stickers out there. I kind of regret putting that one on. It's not bad, but I should pick up one of the other ones at some point. But I also, just to be thorough, at the very least, wanted to plug in a TurboGrafx, because why not?
Paul tells you that you can join RGBX server in the Vision folder to fix the unknown server error on your Vision.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's good.
Vision folder, huh? All right, I'll give that a shot.
Oh, so the hardware does support CD plus G? That's awesome. I always wanted that to be supported on Mister, but it was just like a nitpicking. But if it supports CD plus G, that's really fun because it has sub channels and a lot of things to because the PC Engine does support CD plus G.
Oh, look at that. All right, I'd rather use the Vision window because as we've seen in some previous tests that the I really like the AverMedia Live Gamer 4K. I think for $220 it was an excellent buy for people who want to stream 4K stuff or capture or whatever else, but it is not as good as the Data Pass. There is a noticeable quality difference when you're doing stuff like this. When you're just streaming, there's zero difference, but when you're going through to zoom in, to check out every last little detail, there is absolutely a difference. So try. You know what? I have the original controller, but I haven't spent much time with this. This is Retro Game Restore Shell on a Hyperkin controller. And I mostly bought the controller because I thought, well, I could use the adapter and use it as a spare controller for testing. Good. So,
yeah. I've always I since I bought some adapters for the Turbo, I love them.
Is there? Oops, sorry, my audio cut off. Is there any real difference in the two controllers for actually gaming? Like, is there, they're both same quality, same D-pad, same look and feel, correct?
Yeah, it's slightly bigger, I believe, the TurboGrafx 16 one, but aside from that, I believe they even have the same repeating patterns for the Turbo.
You're right. The TurboGrafx one is slightly bigger. Interesting. And the Hyperkin one is the size of the PC Engine one. All right, good to know.
Yeah, they just changed the connector because I think they felt it was sturdier.
So just for the heck of it, showing the same exact thing on a TurboGrafx 16, same game I played before. This is a super graphics game. One of the main selling points of this is you don't need to spend a lot of money on an original super graphics in order to play those games.
There you go. By the way, there's also a patch for Aldins by Midget that fixes some sync issues and interrupt issues. And people should check that if they're into Aldins for the super graphics.
I know when they were first developing this, that they had done the development on core graphics for PC engines and not TurboGrafx. So I know in development there might have been some issues on TurboGrafx consoles, but I just wanted to demonstrate right here for everybody to see. Here's the Super Graphics game playing perfectly on a TurboGrafx 16 with the production version of the SSD S3 HD -12 divided by 2. So, all right. So there was a CD plus G game as well, right? That
I don't know if
that Rev was talking about.
But there's a CD plus G support on the system.
Let me Rev sent me something over. Let me see if I could drop that on. Oh, there's a bunch of them, huh? All right. Rock paintings. Wasn't that the one that was also on...
yeah, the Sega CD.
Yeah, all right.
That's from the Sega CD. I bet he sent you the rock paintings CD plus G from the Sega CD.
That's funny.
That we all had.
All right, let's check this out.
Well, I still have it.
Is that still downloading? I don't want to... I think that's downloaded. All right, let me extract it. I don't know why I don't have the icon. I have 7-zip installed. Okay, let me power this off and get that on and test what that's like. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, and having this on the TurboGrafx is awesome for a lot of things because right, getting a CD unit for the original TurboGrafx and getting a Super Graphics, an arcade card. I mean, we all jump through some hoops to get that, but you need to use like an adapter or mod the TurboGrafx to accept Japanese hue cards. I better go through an adapter, and then you have to uh, buy a Super CD-ROM 2 and mod it to make it fit into the TurboGrafx, and I don't recommend that. So this is a better path. At least cheaper and safer.
Yeah, also for anybody curious, I wouldn't do testing like this publicly if this was any kind of beta or pre-production thing. I
Yeah,
would
but
I
it's
would
really
never do that, but this is already released to the public, so nothing to hide here.
yeah. It would be fun to find to publish how much it changed from the release firmware to now from with audio. I guess that Tianfeng is going to do that. How much he helped improve the audio and how much now they've pulled in a week. That's awesome.
Interesting. So how do you launch a CD plus G game then? Do I just hit the graphics?
Yeah.
Look at that.
And there you go. It does support CD plus G. That's awesome.
I'm glad I don't have audio hooked up. I'd probably get copyright struck for this.
Yeah, you would. But you can run track 9, I believe, is Information Society.
Well, I don't have audio hooked up at all, so that's perfect.
No, I know, but the graphics, the graphics.
All right. How do I get
Because
to
it has Chris Isaac, and then it has, my memory serves me right, some Fleetwood Mac, and
That's so funny. I know I told you this story before, Artemio, but for anybody that hasn't heard it, when I first started Retro RGB, I thought, man, I would love to be able to get some test patterns on different consoles. And I don't know how to do that because I'm not a programmer. And I thought, well, I remember Sega CD having those CD plus G games. I wonder if I could just hack in some kind of test pattern into one of those. And then in my searching of how to do that, I came across the 240p test suite and went, oh, I don't need that at all. That's great.
glad you did that.
That is pretty funny. So can you I've never used the CD player from a PC Engine or TurboGrafx before. So that's
There's not much to it. It just works. And CD plus G was the standard with you have a regular CD and you have a soft channel that has the graphics encoded to it. So it just picks the graphics and shows it on the TV screen. And you have like lyrics and the linear notes. You have notes from the creators of the music regarding the music or how it was made. The Information Society tracks show which synthesizers they were using, and some drawings made by themselves. So that's funny. Rep says that you can go to graphics and change the track.
it froze.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well,
I hit stop and it froze the thing, but let's try again just for the heck of it, I guess. You said you wanted me to try track 99? Was that what you were saying, Artemio?
no.
Okay.
And track 9. Track
9. Gotcha. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Since you have me there because some games some soundtracks did have hidden tracks at 99, but and I was thinking about that. No, this doesn't have that. But
Yeah, this froze again. Let me try one last time. Power off.
yeah, no problem. No
Power
problem.
back on. So this did not freeze at all during any of the other testing. So if there's anything going on here, it's for the CD plus G stuff.
And yeah, CD plus G is just like nice to have, but I don't think that nobody else but me would care about this. I believe this is Fleetwood Mac. Yeah, next one should be Information Society. Yeah, there you go. Well, my memory wasn't that bad. I was off by 1 track for 30 years or whatever.
That is pretty neat. All right, so let's try to break it. Why did it freeze? So let's go. It froze last time when I hit the stop button. Let's see what happens now. All right, I just hit stop. I didn't touch anything else whatsoever. Yeah, and it froze. So, all right, so CD plus G support is spotty. To the Terraonion team, don't spend your time trying to fix that. Anything else you want to work on is cool. Don't waste your time on that.
On CD plus G. Yeah, please fix CD plus G. This is a deal breaker. Of course not.
Arcade card. Wasn't... that's what I was looking for. Strider for the arcade card CD game.
Oh, yeah. I had such high hopes for it, and it's so bad. Good arcade card games. You can grab Mad Stalker. You can grab let me see. Obviously Sapphire. That would be the big seller for many. And Garo, you have not Garo. Sorry. You have Final Fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Strider is really bad port. I love the intro. I love the new cinemas, but it's so bad. It should have been a Super Graphics port, which was announced as and released later on the Super CD-ROM. It's funny because the Super Graphics came out at the exact same time that the Super CD-ROM 2 came out, and the Super CD-ROM 2 was way more successful, and Super Graphics died, and Super CD-ROM 2 kept going on for years and kept the console living for all the live period of the Super Nintendo back in the day.
Yeah, this isn't the best port of Strider.
No, I know I said it's terrible, but it simply is not up to par with the rest of the port. What I would have expected from the PC Engine, because the PC Engine, I don't know if you've played ever Kisu. How is it called? Kisukiri? Hasekiri. Have you played Hasekiri? It
No,
looks amazing. That
I remember Beast telling me about that actually.
Yeah, Katsukiri is an amazing game. But it's not an arcade card, but it's Super Graphics. Super Graphics, sorry. It's Super CD-ROM 2, and it's amazing.
So, I guess I'll end with this one because this is what I always use to test when I had the original SSDS3 on different consoles, because right here when it gets to the blue screen, right when it says Act 1, oh geez, okay. I guess we got another bug. But right when it gets to that screen, you could see all of the jail bars on any unmodded console. So that's how I would always test if it's not related to the SSDS3, but because it had the arcade card support and all that stuff, I would just plug that in and test it. But hold on a second. Let's try that again.
Let's see if it's repeatable or it was because you were CD plus G playing.
Yeah,
Could be.
I did a power cycle, but yeah, I mean, anytime I wanted to test a super graphics for jail bars, this is what I would use because the all blue screen is really easy to see. All right, let's test this again. I'm not touching the controller at all, by the way, so let's just see what happens again. Well, it seems to work. Interesting.
I bet it was the CD plus G that broke it.
Yeah, because I had done a soft reset, not a.
Yeah, they probably had some issue when unloading that core and loading this. Who knows? A good thing Rev is here, so he can take notes and check it out.
All right.
Because these both things are running on the FPGA.
I guess I'll play another, and this is to be specific. If any of the team is watching, it is on a TurboGrafx 16, not a PC Engine, and
Mm.
this is obviously Super
Mm.
Graphics game. So let's try another one. Let's try.
Try
There.
Ghouls and Ghosts.
I'll do that one next. Sorry, there's a delay. I had already hit the
Okay.
button, but
Yeah, because Darius only uses it for like scrolling, and it's not exactly a Super Graphics game. It's a PC Engine game that is dual. It's like having a game support the PS4 Pro and normal. It has it's enhanced by using the Super Graphics, but it's not a Super Graphics game. I love
Interesting.
that happened. Yeah. I love that this has the boot up screen and everything and the layers.
yeah.
It's hard as hell. I still love it.
So
This is pure Super Graphics. Yeah.
oh yeah, it looks good. It's playing good. I'm dying because I'm playing on a playing on a web window. Although
capture
actually,
window.
this Hyperkin controller isn't doing so well.
Hmm.
It wasn't doing that before though. Let me keep testing it to see. I don't know what that was, but I wasn't able to move right for a while. I don't know if that was the
Might be
controller.
the diagonal input or something.
No. That's really interesting.
Just
It
checking
did.
how it has parallax scrolling. Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Sorry.
It froze again in the same spot. And by the way, I'm for anybody listening. Not only is there a delay, but Discord is known for there being uh, a delay between. So I'm sorry we keep talking over each other, but it just did that again right before I even started the level. So I'm gonna switch over to an original TurboGrafx 16 controller and try that again because that's an interesting bug. If that's the controller, then fine. That's what I get for buying Hyperkin. But I just want to make sure it's only that.
Yeah, diagonals in this game are hard. Yes. And as I was saying, this is a Super Graphics game, so you have parallax scrolling. The background is a different layer from the foreground, and it's as you can see, the ground is not square because you could do layers in the TurboGrafx by scrolling vertically and patch with sprites to make it look. That's what the 240p test suite does. But this has different layers, and they are completely separate, and there are different BDPs. That's what the Super Graphics had. Adds that and adds more sprites.
All right, it was a controller.
Yeah, so there you go, Hyperkin.
My fault for buying
But at
Hyperkin.
least you have the adapter.
Yeah,
right?
it was worth it for the adapter and for the test. All right, so this thing's working great. Well, this has been a long stream, so I want to keep it to a close. But thank you, for, obviously, everybody for watching and doing this. Terraonion, you did a great job. I liked the original, so I guess my only conclusions on this would be if you have the original and you don't play Super Graphics games and you already have like a RetroTink 5X, I don't really know if you would need to upgrade. But if you've been holding off on one of these and you kind of always wanted the SSD S3, but you haven't paid for it yet, this is definitely the one to get just because you have all the options. Great RGB output. No dual output, but I don't think that's as much of a big deal in this case. Great 720p HDMI out. And the team has already been showing that, as always, they're putting out new updates and tweaking it. So, definitely a huge win in my opinion. I think it's a very cool product, and the fact that it did so well with MD Fourier testing was a pretty cool bonus as well. I think they're going to continue to tweak it a little bit, but this just seems like a solid product for people that want to use original consoles. And once again, I just, we've said it a bunch of times, but the FPGA emulation is really only for the CD hardware and for the Super Graphics. It is not using full FPGA. You're actually using your original console. So I like it.
Yeah, it's like a cyborg, right? I mean, it's already digital, but you're getting like half and half, and that's amazing that it can be done right now.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for jumping on unexpectedly, Artemio. I didn't mean to take up all your time, but this was really awesome.
No, it was really fun. It was unexpected for me too, but thank you for having me, and thanks for everyone watching.
Absolutely. And thanks to T. And I will check in with everybody soon. And the official review of this, I'm sure it's going to end up being on My Life in Gaming with me just helping out a little bit because I'm going to be out of commission for about a month during this move. But you will absolutely see a very detailed video about this on somebody's channel in the near future. So thank you all very much, and I'll see you next time.